heavy weapons shrouded in cold and ancient legends. Echoes of the past great demon inspire fear and admiration, at the same time as if foreshadowing the appearance of a powerful shadow from myth. Magic words formed from fog and light float in space, reflecting a silent plea for help or protection. They are like a fragile bridge between the world of people and the forces that control destinies. A girl with long gray hair stands before a glowing symbol, a spell pulling her into the unknown, enveloping her figure in an aura of grandeur and mystery. The distrustful gaze directed at the sign in her eye expresses a mixture of fear and hope. A sign appears in the girl's eye indicating a deal with unknown forces. A loud question confirms that fate has already been decided, and now there is no turning back. Joy and surprise fill her heart when she sees her first contractor. Her face lights up with a smile, her eyes sparkle, and the air is filled with excitement at the prospect of the unknown. She has been preparing for this day for a long time, choosing a special outfit that emphasizes her dignity and the solemnity of the moment. Expectation turns into reality, and the air is filled with the magic of anticipation. The towering ruins floating in the air surround her. She repeats to herself that there is no mistake, reassuring herself that this is the one she has been waiting for. She boldly approaches the door, which slowly opens before her. In her eyes is a reflection of a new world full of secrets, which promises her trials and wonders. The door opens, revealing a path into a world where the old rules fall into disuse. Her footsteps echo down the hallway of adventures to come as the light calls her forward. The portal is fully open, and she stands on the threshold of a new era. With each step, she leaves behind the familiar world, entering a reality where she is the mistress of her destiny. A woman in a sophisticated black dress and high heels walks up the steps, her every step conveying urgency and determination. She may be running late for an important event or eager to meet someone special, but there is a determination in her movement. The viewer is presented with a place full of mystery and enigma, a light that is blindingly white and bright, like a portal leading to another dimension. Marine, a girl with deep black hair and sad eyes, from which tears roll, seems to ask for help or compassion. The text refers to her as the first contractor, which adds dark and mysterious shades to her image. The confident vampire, with an icy gaze and gray hair, smiles, as if she knows something secret that remains hidden from everyone. Her anticipation of events suggests that she knows the course of history that is yet to unfold before the viewer. The map, rich in details of a fantasy world, with the kingdom of Pelen at its heart, promises a wealth of adventure. The text emphasizes the power of this state, making you anticipate its greatness and the secrets that are to be unraveled. A detailed map fragment focusing on the city of Arret Pelen presents it as a key location in the plot. This place undoubtedly holds stories and secrets that will influence the development of the narrative. The vibrant scene of a street market with lively, happy faces highlights the warmth and harmony in this world. The scene is filled with life and color, with each character appearing unique and full of their own stories. The view of the maritime city, with ships sailing out to sea, symbolizes trade and the exchange of cultures. The city lives and breathes through its ports, which are gateways to new worlds and opportunities. The vampire, glowing with delight, is filled with anticipation. Her energy and emotion permeate the image, promising the viewer that the events to come will be exciting and unpredictable. Pelen majestically proclaims its importance with the kingdom's coat of arms. The festival that the text refers to gives the story a sense of depth and places it firmly in the rich fabric of the world's cultural and social traditions. The crowd that has gathered does not take their eyes off Slava Raidan, whose exploits cause delight. Everyone is waiting for a spectacle that will remain in the memory. An antique scroll adorned with the past announces a tournament for knights, where the honor of winning 5 rounds promises the title of greatest swordsman. The duel of knights is fascinating. Dark armor against a fair-haired opponent. The moment of their fight is the apogee of courage and skill. The protagonist, with his back to the stands, freezes, reflecting on his path that led him to the arena of glory and forever immortalized his name. The sword's radiance promises the winner riches and recognition. His name will go down in history as the greatest swordsman in the kingdom. In the royal halls, the knight enters a new world where honor and ideals mix with intrigue, marking an important chapter in history. In the shadows of the room, Marian reflects on her experiences. Her emotions and thoughts are focused on the losses and the coming changes in her life. Marian embodies beauty and mystery, her reflections on the gap between reality and the inner world, where she remains a prisoner of thoughts. Emotions overwhelm Marian, revealing new truths to her. This shakes her world, forcing her to accept inevitable changes. Marian sees the challenge as a game. Her willingness to take on challenges only fuels her interest in the adventures to come. Marianne, in uniform, is puzzled by the sight of the maids replacing a light bulb. The seriousness of her question contrasts with the comical situation around her. In the blue dress, Marian examines the yellow one, wondering if she will have to wear it. The boy watches her with a silent question in his eyes. The boy happily twirls around in the yellow dress, admiring its lightness. Marian is surprised, watching his choice with interest. The mask makes Marian uneasy. She confidently demands another dress, clearly dissatisfied with the boy's choice, and rejecting it. Marianne rejects the blue dress, finding it unsuitable. She is unhappy with how it represents her, and seeks a more sophisticated option. In front of the mirror in a pink dress, Marian feels confident. Her reflection confirms the correctness of her choice, which is also approved by those around her. Running Marian is reflected in every mirror. Her movements are graceful, and her dress emphasizes her elegance and confidence. A happy Marianne sits next to the surprised boy. Her playful tone reveals her friendliness and joy at the unexpected situation. The dress flutters into the air as she hurries through the room, each step reflecting her energy and ease, capturing the attention of the mirrors. With a sly smile, Marianne finishes the game, demonstrating control over the situation and confidence in her victory. Ryan, as the eldest heir, appears agitated. His harsh words and reactions indicate concern for his honor and possible criticism. Demina is melancholy. Her gaze conveys inner unrest. She feels the weight of injustice, making her image vulnerable. Ryan, in the morning light, advises Demina to be careful, pointing out the risks. His expression shows genuine concern and protection. Marianne looks tired from the meetings that exhaust her. Her eyes are the traces of unwanted memories that follow her everywhere. Marianne looks at the man who is happy to meet her with surprise. Her gaze is a mixture of mistrust and assessing tension. Remiel is happy to meet Marianne, expressing his emotions sincerely. His cheerfulness creates an atmosphere of warmth and lightness of the moment. Marianne looks at Remiel with coldness and irritation. Her expression clearly shows that his presence makes her uncomfortable. Sarcastically noting the long separation, Marianne shows displeasure. Her tone and facial expressions reveal a desire to avoid communication. Marianne pushes Remiel away forcefully, expressing anger and stating her boundaries, showing her disapproval of his behavior. Marianne resolutely rejects Remiel's attempts to get closer. Her emotions underline her firm refusal to have any kind of relationship. Marianne abruptly rejects Remiel, demanding that he disappear. The cruelty of her words contrasts with the man's confusion, creating a sense of pain. Bowing her head, Marianne realizes that the one she thought was close has turned out to be a stranger. This recognition leaves a bitter taste of disappointment. In front of her mother's portrait, Marianne quietly utters words of love and longing. Her sadness emphasizes the irreparability of the loss and its pain. Looking at the portrait, Marianne confesses her loneliness. Her resolute words convey a sense of helplessness in this cruel world. Looking at the portrait, Marianne remembers her brother, who was her support. Her words express a longing for the lost closeness and warmth. Marianne embraces the girl with joy. This touching moment of love is in sharp contrast to her previous experiences. Marianne's reproachful gaze asks how Remiel can lie. Her eyes reflect the struggle between faith and the awareness of betrayal. The maid reminds Marianne of her duties, bringing her back to reality. This moment emphasizes her social roles and responsibilities. The whispers of the maids in the hallway make Marianne uneasy. She realizes that she has become the subject of gossip, increasing her sense of isolation. Marianne turns around at the unexpected sound in the hallway. The tension builds, foreshadowing an unexpected turn of events in her life. Marianne's stepmother, greeting the girl in the decorated hall, speaks with warmth, but her cold gaze betrays her calculation. Marianne asks her stepmother with displeasure about her goals. She smiles, but the politeness of her words hides falsehood and omissions. The stepmother responds to Marianne's sarcasm with irony, but with hidden contempt. The girl does not hide her irritation, accusing her stepmother and rejecting her. The stepmother mentioning Marian's resemblance to her mother causes tension. The girl feels the weight of these ambiguous words. In the middle of the evening, Marian, without holding back her emotions, strikes her stepmother. This gesture is full of despair and speaks of her impotence. The stepmother, maintaining her composure, humiliates Marian, forcing her to kneel, emphasizing her low position in society. On her knees, Marianne suffers humiliation, while her stepmother demonstrates her superiority, dividing the room into winners and losers. As the stepmother leaves the stage, she leaves Marian in humiliation. A silence filled with heaviness accompanies her fall. In the shadows of the hall, the stepmother shows her superiority, emphasizing the difference between their statuses, while Marian is depressed. Marian looks at her stepmother through her tears. Her silence only emphasizes the power of the words spoken by her stepmother. Ophelia stands at the window, looking thoughtfully into the distance, her heavy sigh betraying invisible but tangible worries. Marianne finds herself in a difficult situation, faced with Ophelius's irritation, their silent tension filling their every move. At the dinner table, Ophelius addresses the man with respect, emphasizing recognition of his high status. Ophelius tells the man about the expensive tea, her joyful tone conveying the anticipation with which she awaits the moment to share it. With a slight smile, Ophelius offers tea to the guests, seeing this not only as an invitation, but also as a way to get closer over warm conversation. Ophelius looks satisfied as she looks at the guests, her smile genuinely reflecting the joy of a pleasant evening. Ophelius emphasizes his hospitality by arranging tea service in advance, impressing guests with his attention to detail. At the end of the evening, each guest will be presented with an expensive tea, which demonstrates Ophelius's care and gratitude. Addressing her companion, Ophelius expresses the hope that everyone will enjoy the tea, her voice filled with warmth and sincerity. Marianne, starting the meal, tries her stepmother's dishes with interest, her movements radiating anticipation of new taste impressions. Marianne, in a red dress, slowly stirs her food with a fork. There is tension in the air, her gaze is dull. She is clearly hiding something. Ophelius smiles, but there is a hint in her voice that she knows a lot. Marianne feels uncomfortable, although she hears only kind words. Marianne, looking down, makes a threat, filling the atmosphere with a premonition of grave events. The maid serves tea with a forced smile. Marianne remains indifferent, as if her thoughts are preoccupied with something more important. The maid promises that the tea will improve Marianne's life, but her words sound ambiguous, like mockery hidden under politeness. The maid advises to enjoy the tea slowly, as if suggesting to think about something more than just the taste of the drink. Marianne looks at the strawberry cake with indifference, rejecting not only the food, but also perhaps her stepmother's hidden intentions. Ophelius sharply and mercilessly warns Marianne of an impending ultimatum with a dark omen. Holding the cup, Marianne is emotionless. Her calm and face hide the storm going on inside her. The maid reminds Marianne to drink her tea. Her tone is commanding and veiled in threat, heightening her anxiety. Marianne elegantly drinks tea, thinking about something meaningful. A servant nearby looks at her with concern, as if he senses trouble. Marianne's tea time retreat is marred by a servant who knows something important. Tension fills the opulent room. Seeing the blood on her chin, Marianne is overcome with horror. She tries to understand where it came from and what it means. Spilled tea creates an ominous red stain, which symbolizes something darker than the ordinary incident. Marianne realizes that her life is hanging by a thread. Drops of blood and tears reflect her fear and despair. The servants froze, shocked by the unfolding tragedy. Their looks were full of horror and helplessness. Lying on the floor, Marianne tries to understand whether she has crossed the threshold between life and death, realizing that she has been poisoned. Marianne's tears roll down her face, symbolizing loss and despair. She feels alone and lost. In the face of death, she feels loneliness and fear. Every breath seems like her last, and the world is already alien. The servants gathered around Marianne. Their eyes were filled with helplessness and pain. They were stunned, unable to do anything. Marianne is determined, but doubts herself, wondering if she has the strength for the test. Clenching her fists, she prepares to fight, but the fear of defeat does not leave her. Doubts and despair overwhelm her. Biting her finger, she tries to find a way out of the impasse. Her gestures conceal hope and a painful desire for salvation. At the table, she muses on the legend of a demon wreaking havoc. The skepticism on her face betrays her disbelief in these stories, even as she searches for answers. Realizing that there is a way out, Marianne faces a new problem: how to summon a demon without knowledge of magic. Her confusion and anxiety are reflected on her face. In desperation, Marianne begs for help, feeling that life has frozen. Her words express an immense loss of hope and a complete inner devastation. On her knees, lost in the shadows, she prays earnestly for help, turning to higher powers. Her voice is full of supplication and expectation of an answer. In a dark room, Marianne promises the demon to pay any price for the wish to be granted. There is determination in her voice and a willingness to do anything for the sake of the goal. After completing her prayer, she summons a demon who appears without a circle, emphasizing her unusual strength and purity of intentions. The demon approvingly evaluates her as an interlocutor and gladly concludes a contract. His presence fills the space with power. Marianne is overcome with terror and delight at the touch of the demon. The wind ruffles her hair, the worry in her eyes tells her that her life has changed. A girl in a red dress and a demon in a black dress stand opposite each other. Tension hovers between them, as if two worlds are about to collide. The demon looks at her, and Marianne asks the question, as if her last hope depends on the answer. In shock and fear, Marianne looks at the creature that seemed like a myth. Her question is full of disbelief and surprise. The demon responds with disdain, emphasizing his greatness, and cold superiority, not paying attention to her embarrassment. In the darkness, the demon stands shrouded in shadow, her heels echoing an ominous aura, underscoring her connection to the dark forces. The demon looks with irritation at the black spot under his feet, as if it were a symbol of the past or a harbinger of trouble. Marianne is shocked. Reality refutes her disbelief in legends. Her words flow without stopping, as if she is trying to make sense of everything. The demon confirms its existence in a quiet but convincing voice, causing Marianne even more doubts. The despair in her eyes and the questions she asks the demon reveal the last spark of hope that she is not ready to lose. Looking up, Marianne asks the demon for a life together. Her plea rings out in the silence, reflecting both hope and despair. Marianne and the demon sit in a dark room, their faces dimly lit. She looks away thoughtfully, and the demon, looking puzzled, asks questions, not understanding what is happening. The demon is displeased and states that the contract did not foresee the current turn of events. His voice is full of anger, and his gaze expresses hurt and disappointment. Demon recalls the first contract with pleasant emotions. Her face shines, and she looks forward with confidence, anticipating success and new achievements. In front of the mirror, the demon seeks the ideal image, trying on different masks of power. She strives for perfection in order to take a dominant position. The demon ponders whether to appear strict or soft before Marianne. She is looking for a method of influence that will be most effective in the current situation. She experiments with different styles of behavior, thinking that elegance will help her achieve her goal. In her eyes, you can see the search for the perfect strategy. The demon continues to search for the perfect facial expression, striving to look stern. Her doubts in front of the mirror reflect her insecurity and desire to convince others. The demon sees the devil's smile as a secret weapon. She sees it as a tool of confidence and charm that can influence negotiations. Surrounded by magical books, the demon reflects on the first contract. The atmosphere emphasizes her connection to ancient knowledge and mystical power. Marianne sighs heavily, considering her decision. She is ready to tell her story, but first she wants to see how much the demon is able to listen to her. Marianne introduces herself as the first princess of a powerful kingdom. Her serious look and name add mystery to her story. Sitting at a table with a stranger, Marianne passes out after drinking tea. Waking up in a different place, she begins summoning the demon, confused by what has happened. Marianne is certain that the death was the work of a servant. She angrily vows that no one else will suffer such a fate, determined to change the future. Uracina, a majestic demon, offers Marianne the chance to save her life. She asks the fatal question, offering to choose salvation over immediate revenge. Marianne clasps her hands in doubt, thinking about revenge. She tries to find a way out, avoiding the pain of the past, but the decision seems extremely difficult. Uracina offers Marianne to get rid of her enemies by any means necessary. Her confidence in the fulfillment of her wishes adds tension to their interaction. Marianne rejects the demon's delicate offer. She demands revenge through her own body so that she can see the results of her determination firsthand. Uracina replies that the body does not matter, the result will be the same. She assures that Marian's goal will be achieved in any case. Eurysina admits that such a desire was unexpected. However, the contract requires following the client's wishes, no matter how unusual they may be. Eurysina, although hesitant, agrees. She reflects on how the reality of the human world, far from ideal, forces her to enter into such contracts. Eurysina, with silver hair and pale skin, proposes a pact emphasizing their inevitability. Marian, in a red dress, acknowledges their different paths, but agrees, showing courage. Marian curiously asks Eurysina's name. The demoness pronounces the name with dignity, causing Marian to be surprised, realizing the mystical nature of their meeting. Eurysina's long name causes Marianne to be perplexed, which adds a humorous accent. The girl's confusion makes her closer and more understandable to the reader. Eurysina announces the conclusion of the contract. Their eyes meet. This emphasizes the importance of their union. Marianne listens attentively, demonstrating readiness for the contract. Marianne realizes that her name is linked to Eurysina and the dark power. Her admiration and bewilderment convey the full scope of the commitment she has made. Marianne feels the greatness of Eurysina's demonic power. Her anxiety and confusion reveal her inexperience and inner struggle before the new role. Eurysina's emotions reach their peak when she reacts to Marianne's doubts. Her gestures show determination and immersion in her role as a conduit for dark forces. Marianne despairs as she comes to terms with her new reality. Her panic and inner turmoil underscore the drama of the situation and the depth of the changes. Marianne is amazed by her new abilities. Her fear and amazement reveal the character of a girl who has encountered such power for the first time. At the threshold of magic, Marianne raises her hand, light flickering on her skin, symbolizing the awakening of power. This gesture heralds the beginning of a great miracle. With her arms crossed, Marianne concentrates on the event ahead. Her concentrated expression and ritual gesture heighten the sense of the moment's significance. Marianne's gaze is full of determination and hope. She appeals to hidden forces, trying to see the future and change it. Her face expresses deep mystery. Marianne, in a room where the fabric of reality is tangible, asks for the power to grant a wish. Her silhouette glows, reflecting the energy and approach of transformation. There is a light of gratitude on Marianne's face, a tear glistening, reflecting joy and awe. This moment shows the sincerity of her feelings and the greatness of magic. Eurysina, dressed in dark clothes and surrounded by a glow, bids farewell to the world. Her raised hand symbolizes the end of her mission or a new goal. Eurysina reaches for the light, her hand reaching for the source of power. This moment symbolizes liberation or the culmination of her journey. Eurysina's deep gaze reflects anticipation. She understands that her role in Marianne's actions is key and determines the outcome of events. All attention is on the door radiating light. It could be a gate to another world through which Eurysina can manifest her power or move on. Marianne's gaze lights up with the realization of an important truth. Her alarm and surprise heighten the atmosphere of mystery and the significance of what has happened. Eurysina, in the form of Marianne, awakens with the knowledge of trouble. Her anxiety and urgency indicate that something has happened that requires immediate action. With difficulty coming to her senses, the girl suddenly realizes that she has forgotten an important element of the contract. A feeling of hopelessness overcomes her. Her body does not obey, and pain torments her head. At this time, the maid stands in the room, her face expressing shock. Clutching the bouquet, she seems to seek comfort in it from what is happening. The maid's colleague is taken aback. Her reaction shows that the events are beyond the ordinary. She freezes, trying to comprehend what is happening. The situation escalates when news of Marianne's awakening spreads. The house becomes hectic as the staff scrambles to find help for the princess. Marianne remains in a stupor, struggling with an invisible enemy, helplessness and pain. They paralyze her, not allowing her to get out of bed. Frightened and confused, she calls for help. Her gaze reflects despair, and she understands that she is left alone in the face of new difficulties. The white-bearded doctor discusses Marianne's condition with the maid. His determination to help is matched by her attentiveness to her words. Entering the room, the doctor assesses Marianne's condition. His seriousness reflects the experience and knowledge needed to help her after she awakens. Eurysina, having assumed the form of Marianne, realizes her new situation. She feels stressed and confused, realizing that the situation is out of her control. In an elegant room, the doctor explains to Urasina that her revival is due to a demon. His words sound serious, emphasizing the importance of the event. In the hallway with the clock, the doctor promises to bring Urasina food. His care is expressed in the preparation of porridge and a decoction for her recovery. In the bedroom, the maid with the scythe embraces Urasina, who is lying in bed. This moment is filled with sincere sympathy and warmth. The maid offers Urasina food, but the silence between them highlights the tension and uncertainty in the room. Urasina awkwardly accepts food, which symbolizes her dependence and powerlessness, contrasting with her former strength and independence. In a room with golden decorative elements, the doctor reflects on the magnificence of the princess. The luxury emphasizes her new role. In the dark library, Urasina looks into the mirror, noting that her past, full of modesty, is in stark contrast to her present. The maid continues to court Urasina, their silence filled with unspoken emotions, creating a tense atmosphere. Urasina is irritated by the maid's behavior, her gaze expressing a mixture of confusion and anxiety caused by her new surroundings. Three maids stand before Urasina, their faces filled with worry and readiness to obey, reflecting the change in hierarchy. A knock is heard at the luxurious doors, breaking the silence of the corridor. Anticipation of the meeting fills the air, emphasizing the tension of the moment. In a spacious, bright room, an old man in a doctor's robe and a young woman in a maid's outfit exchange glances full of anticipation and unspoken words. The doctor's face expresses attention and concern as he asks the young woman about her health and food, as if trying to assess her current condition. The doctor, with a serious face, offers the woman medicine, handing her a bowl of an unusual green drink. Their eyes meet, creating a moment of silent agreement. The girl looks thoughtfully at the bowl. Her face expresses disgust at the potion, which seems alien and unpleasant to her, intensifying the internal conflict. Sitting in the comfort of her bedroom, she courageously lifts the bowl to her lips, trying to drink the potion in one gulp to minimize the discomfort. A grimace distorts her face as she takes her first sip of the medicine. She feels a deep sense of disgust, as if she has encountered something unexpectedly unpleasant to the taste. As she lies in her pillows, she ponders that the potion may be more than a cure. The thought of possible poison increases her doubts and fears. Despite her disgust, she tries to overcome her inner resistance and takes the potion, showing fortitude and determination to overcome her fear. On the bed, she doubts the motives of those around her and fears the consequences for her new body, wondering what taking the mysterious potion will mean. The silver-bearded doctor consoles Urasina, making a remark about the bitterness of the medicine as a sign of its usefulness. His words cause her obvious displeasure. Urasina, as Marion criticizes the taste of the medicine, irritated by the lack of sweets, which she believes could soften the unpleasant sensations. The doctor in white is deep in thought about how to improve Urasina's condition. His concentration and gestures express concern and slight disappointment. Urasina returns to her true form with white hair and elven ears. Her resentment at the transformation causes tension and confusion in the room. Urasina kisses King Refstor's hand. The atmosphere is filled with deep emotion and tension, reflecting the significance of the moment when a daughter meets her father. King Refstor enters with his retinue. His majestic appearance emphasizes his status, inspiring respect. Those present do not hide their admiration for his image. The king addresses Urasina with concern, emphasizing his attention to her health. His reverent words enhance the impression of his royal bearing. The conversation with the king takes an unexpected turn when he asks about her father. The question becomes a point of tension, foreshadowing an important revelation in the story. The king's words leave his retinue stunned, plunging them into astonishment. Shock and disbelief are reflected on their faces, showing how revelation changes the way events are perceived. Urasina, hiding her emotions, looks thoughtful and worried. She tries to hide her embarrassment and excitement before the unexpected turn of the story. Marion, in the guise of Urasina, greets the gentlemen in the room. Her greeting confuses them as they expected a completely different reaction. She, maintaining a majestic style, expresses respect for the king's visit, increasing the bewilderment of the guests. The contrast between her manners and their confused looks creates dissonance. Men in different styles of clothing surrounding Marianne look at each other with doubts and questions, not understanding what is happening. The atmosphere becomes more and more tense. Refstor, the blue-haired king, takes Marianne's formal behavior with irony. Her actions arouse in him a mixture of surprise and mild skepticism. Marianne sits on the bed, maintaining a formal style of communication. This increases her detachment from the guests and confuses them, creating a feeling of misunderstanding. The white-bearded doctor, with an anxious expression on his face, watches Marianne's behavior. He feels confused, trying to understand the reasons for her unusual reception. The emotional pause between Marianne and the doctor is tense. She justifies the formality with a long separation, which only increases the atmosphere of anxiety. The ref store addressing the men expresses doubts about their connections with Marianne. His words cause confusion and bewilderment among everyone present in the room. The situation escalates when ref store, dissatisfied with the doctor's words, expresses anger. His gestures and facial expressions show anxiety and determination to find out the truth. The doctor stands to the side, his hands clasped his face, expressing grief and concern for Marianne's fate. He is clearly having a hard time dealing with what is happening. In a luxurious room, the doctor suggests that the princess's condition is due to amnesia from poisoning. His serious tone shows sympathy for her condition. The ref store speaks anxiously to the girl, believing her to be Marianne. His helplessness and despair are noticeable. He worries that she does not recognize him. Urasina, as Marianne, stands in the shadows with a heavy gaze. Her silence is filled with deep confusion and expresses more than words could. The ref store looks devastated after learning that his daughter has lost her memory. He tries to control his emotions to find a way out of the situation. The young aristocrat turns to ref store with interest, offering his solution. His confident look indicates his readiness to take responsibility for his actions. The young man suggests using Marianne's memory loss to their advantage, discussing it only with trusted people to avoid unnecessary rumors and scandals. He suggests retraining the princess to preserve the family's dignity. This plan surprises ref store, but seems logical and promising. The ref store considers the reputational risks of Marianne's retraining becoming public knowledge. He is looking for ways to keep the information from the public. The young aristocrat reassures the king, promising to control the situation and ensure that no one outside the castle knows what is happening. Urasina suddenly smiles, watching her father's anxiety. Ref store, trying to calm down, continues to control his emotions in the current situation. The silver-haired, red-eyed demon desperately covers his face with his hands. His expression conveys the weight of life, the inner crisis and pain he is experiencing. Urasina, as Marianne, lies on her bed, surrounded by writing materials, yearning for joy. The reality of her world has turned out to be an exhausting routine instead of expectations. Marianne's thoughts are interrupted by a loud voice suddenly calling her name. Her confusion and the unexpectedness of the moment are reflected in the girl's facial expressions and posture. The white-bearded doctor watches Marianne struggle to master history and is clearly disappointed. His anxiety and skepticism about her progress are evident. Standing in front of the mirror, Marianne looks at her new reflection. Thoughts about the past and the present confuse her, intensifying her internal contradictions. Unaccustomed to her new appearance, Marianne stands next to the demon, whose compassion in his eyes reflects her struggle with changes that have affected more than just her appearance. The maid speaks to Marianne with trepidation, expressing her concern, which adds to the sense of uncertainty surrounding their relationship and Marianne's new role. Marianne remains calm and friendly, trying to understand the reason for the maid's anxiety. Her smile hides her inner bewilderment and anxiety. The anticipation of meeting Raderon makes Marianne uneasy. Her frightened look speaks of anxiety, and ref store demands silence, dissatisfied with the tension. Dressed as a maid, Marianne turns around abruptly, her surprise reflected in her facial expressions. The air is filled with a heavy sense of foreboding, heightening her anticipation of the unexpected. Marianne looks irritated and rejects the unknown offer. Her gesture of pushing away reveals a desire to avoid pressure and imposed problems. The blond man with a confident smile stands out in the luxurious room. His authority and posture emphasize leadership. He becomes the center of attention of those around him. The blond man gathers a group of influential people. The atmosphere in the room is filled with anticipation of the beginning of an important task that requires their unity. The bespectacled scholar stands out for his noble manners. His willingness to teach Marianne and his respect for her status create an atmosphere of intellectual growth. The stern gray-haired man embodies tradition. His stern appearance underlines the seriousness of the moment as he prepares to impart knowledge of the past to Marian. A woman with straight hair and glasses embodies the standard of etiquette. Her look and manners express strictness and commitment to the rules she teaches. The blonde laughs, but his joke remains a mystery to Marian. Her face expresses bewilderment and surprise at the unexpected turn of events. Marian opens her eyes in confusion. The news from the blonde is a test of her composure. The situation is getting more tense with each passing moment. She steps back, her face twisted in horror, shocked at the prospect of learning from someone she never expected to see in this role. Princess Marianne is adamant about learning the basics to preserve the fundamentals. She fears that the chaos in her mind will distort and obscure important information. The man in the suit emphasizes that the princess's protracted training will create problems. His words underscore the importance of timing and the expectations of her royal status. Two female hands are tearing a piece of paper, symbolizing the gap between the princess's beliefs and society's expectations. This highlights the conflict between her values and reality. The cheerful character celebrates personal success with enthusiasm, bright exclamations, and emotional outburst. His joy emphasizes the significance of the achieved result. The golden-haired man enthusiastically accepts the princess's decision to begin training. His support demonstrates his devotion and willingness to be her support. Marianne makes a decisive change to her schedule in an effort to be disciplined. This decision helps her feel confident and improves the learning process. The character with white hair experiences despair and disappointment, reflecting the severity of the trial or failure he faces. His emotions are filled with drama. When lost in thought, Marianne reacts with detachment to demands for concentration, reflecting her introspective nature and detachment from imposed obligations. A thoughtful Marianne is puzzled when asked about the mystery being solved. The question adds intrigue and hints at an unexpected turn in her story. The teacher sternly reproaches Marianne for her bored look and frivolous attitude towards lessons. He emphasizes the importance of the past for understanding the present. The princess reflects on her family and expresses a desire to learn more about its members in order to better understand their role in the life of the palace and the politics of the kingdom. King Refstor, a wise and authoritative ruler, has yet to leave a mark on history. His love for his late wife Iridia is expressed in the name he gave his daughter. Queen Ophelise, Marianne's golden-haired stepmother, is renowned for her beauty and good reputation, a status that has been accepted by both her family and the public since Iridia's death. Marianne sits with Ophelise and her children, Ryan Ramil and Demiana. Their time together symbolizes the unity of the royal family. Adrian, who has no interest in politics, is depicted with a contented smile. Her daughter Flora and her own situation bring her joy and peace. Marianne is disappointed by the superficiality of the family information. Her desire to know the family secrets remains unfulfilled, which raises doubts and questions. The man with glasses inquires about the health of the older members of the family. He notes that Adrian has not complained about her health, adding calm to the conversation. The man continues the conversation, and Marianne lowers her head in understanding, realizing that the information received does not help find answers to her questions. The mentor sternly reminds Marianne of the importance of basic knowledge and points out her distraction, which emphasizes the seriousness of her studies. The mentor explains the history and geography of the kingdom, including swordsmanship and maritime trade, emphasizing the importance of their coastal location. Marianne excitedly asks Baron Rice about the swordmasters. Rice explains that since the beginning of time, there have only been 4 demonstrating this with his fingers. Marianne is shocked by the small number of masters, but Rice explains that each master has great power, which emphasizes their importance and power. Reese claims that normal magical defenses are powerless against this energy, and only a swordmaster or a high-circle mage can control it. Marianne listens to him with admiration. Tess, the art teacher, points out Marianne's awkward movements, advising her to strike the correct pose so that the hem of her dress will flow beautifully. Marianne is a little taken aback. Marianne, puzzled by Tess's words, defends herself by claiming that she knows how to move properly. She demonstrates her knowledge with a slight smile, trying to smooth things over. Race asks Marianne to return to the lesson, emphasizing its importance. His gesture of bringing his hand to his mouth indicates his concentration and the importance of the learning process. Tired from her lessons, Marianne hangs her head and Reyes watches her with compassion, realizing her fatigue. He understands that the load on her is too great. Marianne suddenly bursts into flames, casting magical spells. Her abilities manifest as bright flashes of light, showing the power of her emotions and magical gifts. Tess corrects Marianne's improper movements, pointing out the importance of grace and elegance. She tries to guide her on the path to proper behavior. Marianne, frustrated by her failures, sits on the floor, with her face covered, expressing her discontent. She is exhausted by difficulties that seem insurmountable to her. Confused, Marianne spreads her arms, surrounded by a halo of light, unsure of what is expected of her, feeling the pressure of her role. Tess, her eyes full of tears, points out that Marianne's movements, although precise, lack lightness. She emphasizes the importance of grace in dance. Frustrated by the comments, Marianne questions the need for the exercises. She wonders how to build a relationship with a teacher who seems like a stranger to her. Tess is shocked by Marianne's revelation. She is at a loss for words and covers her mouth with her hands, realizing the complexity of misunderstandings between student and teacher. In an attempt to calm the situation, Marianne asks Tess to keep her voice down. She realizes that her directness may have hurt the teacher's feelings and wants to restore peace. Tess maintains a pedagogical calm and reminds Marianne of the importance of appearance and aristocratic behavior, which must be cultivated. Determined, Marianne walks down the palace corridor, demonstrating her willingness to comply with the demands and continue her studies despite her fatigue. The forest path covered with greenery becomes a guide for Marianne. She runs along it with an unclear purpose, as if towards a test or her dream. Marianne's self-searching gaze freezes against the greenery. She looks back, wondering about her place in a world where every step seems difficult. Marianne's fall in the forest symbolizes her internal conflict. She is tired of fighting against imposed standards that seem alien and unattainable to her. Marianne finds Saren resting on a tree branch. His thoughts about possible danger surprise her and make her think about the unusualness of his views. Looking down at Saren, Marianne is surprised by his choice of place to rest. His behavior seems strange, eccentric, but somehow attractive to her. Marianne steps away, still puzzled by her encounter with Saren. Her gaze reflects the surprise and skepticism caused by his unexpected and unpredictable behavior. Saren watches Marianne leave his gaze, filled with interest and surprise. He is clearly puzzled by her reaction, but maintains a slight smile. When Saren jumps out of the tree, Marianne becomes irritated. His actions seem intrusive to her, increasing her displeasure with each new step towards him. Saren tries to get Marianne's attention by calling her over. However, his requests go unanswered, as she is clearly not interested in his company. Marianne doubts the correctness of the chosen path, but Saren looks at her with ease and joy, expressing with her gaze anticipation and inner peace. Saren introduces himself to Marianne with confidence, adding an air of mystery to his image. His manner of speaking leaves her with many questions about his intentions. Marianne hides her excitement and demands direct answers. Her desire to understand Serene's true motives intensifies as his enigma haunts her. Saren, smiling, suggests to Marianne to move on to a more casual conversation. His ease and joy emphasize his openness and sincere desire to get closer. Saren insists that he is not a threat, his relaxed demeanor contrasting with Marianne's wariness, who continues to take his words with skepticism. Marianne doubts Saren's sincerity, suspecting him of deception. She tries to understand what motives might be hidden behind his words, remaining on guard. Saren jokes that if he were a murderer, Marianne would no longer be able to listen to him. His irony underlines the frivolous attitude towards a serious topic. Marianne is puzzled by Saren's words, seeing in them a hint of a possible cover-up of a crime. Her anxiety and doubts intensify, reflected in her facial expression. Saren is shocked by Marianne's accusations. His surprise and confusion are expressed in his gestures and facial expressions because he did not expect such a sharp reaction to his words. Marianne, standing alone, ponders Saren's words. She tries to find hidden meaning in his remarks, doubting the honesty of their interaction. At the ball, Marianne is attacked. Her face is full of fear, and her opponent's actions highlight the conflict, which only intensifies before our eyes. Saren, upset by the misunderstanding, feels sad. His face reflects the inner shock and regret about the events that are happening. Serene mentions Marianne's complicated position in the royal family, suggesting that even Princess Ariana may be involved. This adds nuance to their dialogue. Marian listens to Saren in confusion. His words reinforce her sense of injustice, as if betrayal or accusations have deeply affected her. A red-haired aristocrat with an exquisite smile looks out of the window of a bright room. Her confidence and grandeur emphasize her belonging to high society. Princess Flora stands thoughtfully, her relaxed posture and distant gaze suggesting her reluctance to fight for the throne. She is clearly lost in her dreams. Marian, a dark-haired princess, looks out into the night, lost in thought. The darkness around her highlights her hesitation as she ponders her return. Siren, a man with blue hair, smiles as he invites Marian to follow him through the night forest. His promise to lead her through the darkness adds to the mystery. Siren walks down the alley under the moonlight, thinking about trust. His caution and distrust of the person he meets reflects his inner doubts. Standing before Marian, Siren invites her to go alone. His manner and confident demeanor demonstrate independence and hint at a lesson in self-reliance. Marian in the forest asks a question with a determined look, hinting at a desire to see each other again. Her eyes express a desire to reveal a fateful secret. A man with silver hair leaves a secluded place in the forest, declaring that he will not return. His melancholy and regret reflect the internal conflict at parting. A woman in a pink dress stands under the moon, surrounded by fireflies. Her stillness and hidden face emphasize the silence and mystery of the moment. Three figures in white surround a woman in the forest, suddenly recognizing her as Princess Marian. The moment is filled with surprise and confusion. Princess Marianne, before a man concerned for her safety. He insistently offers to accompany her, seeking to protect her from possible danger. In the bright room, Princess Marian hears reproaches about behavior that is not in keeping with her status. The tension between etiquette and her views on life intensifies. Marianne dreams of escape from the maid whose remarks irritate her. Her irritation grows, and she strives to get rid of the annoying company. Marianne bangs the table in anger, demanding immediate action. Her outburst highlights her decisive nature and desire for immediate results. Duke Radifon enters the hall, greeting Marianne, who is seated to the side. His manner reflects respect and adherence to the strict traditions of their society. With a gleam in his eye, the Duke praises Marianne's progress and informs her of the upcoming exam. His enthusiasm underlines his recognition of her efforts and her readiness for the new challenge. Marianne answers Radiophon with a broad smile, cheerfully keeping up the conversation. The mention of the exam makes her look surprised, which sets off her mischievous nature. The princess is excited about the prospect of meeting the king regent. Her smile and confident expression indicate her readiness for the event that will determine her future. Looking at a blank sheet of paper, Marianne prepares for an exam that will test her knowledge. Her eyes are full of determination, despite her anxiety about the upcoming test. Marianne is aware of the weight of expectations placed upon her. Her face expresses fear and confusion at the impending responsibility and difficult challenge. The night sky, with a thin crescent moon, contrasts with Marianne's anxiety. The silence of nature becomes the backdrop for her deep thoughts and worries. The princess writes with concentration, her hair pulled back and her posture confident. She is completely immersed in preparing for the test, not distracted by external stimuli. Marianne's diary contains a promise that seems like a vow or a dream. It is a place where she expresses her feelings and hopes being herself without fear of judgment. Desperate Marianne looks for a way to avoid the exam. Her mind wanders in search of tricks, reflecting the struggle between her expectations and the pressures of society. Panic grips Marianne. Studying takes up all her time, leaving no room for rest. She is ready to sacrifice peace in order to achieve an important goal. A fellow student observing Marianne admires her persistence in her studies. Her tenacity arouses respect, but also concerns for her health and well-being. Tired Marianne continues her studies without leaving her bed. She turns the pages feeling their weight, which symbolizes her fatigue. In a fit of rage, Marianne throws the books around, outraged by the feeling that the time for a great test has come, and her inner storm comes out. In the ballroom, Marianne teaches a servant, but accidentally hurts her. The comical incident highlights her human vulnerability and imperfection. Drowning in books, Marianne receives a new pack, a gesture symbolizing her insatiable thirst for knowledge, despite her already colossal workload. At a cluttered table, Marianne discusses her works, and the maid admires her intelligence. This reflects respect for her learning and intellectual achievements. The stress of studying is physically felt by Marianne. The upcoming test weighs on her, symbolizing the weight of psychological pressure. Before an important event, Marianne motivates herself by setting herself up for success. Her determination and fortitude show her readiness to overcome any difficulties. When Marianne sees the announcement of the exam day, she knows that the moment of truth is near. Her efforts will soon be appreciated, and the anticipation is building. As Marianne enters the room, she senses an atmosphere of anticipation. The audience watches her closely, emphasizing the importance of the upcoming moment. Mr. Call watches Marianne, commenting on her condition with irony. His words reflect a complex relationship filled with contradictions. Before the exam, Marianne prepares to face the test with dignity. Her composure and equanimity emphasize her inner strength. Princess Marianne ends her speech by saying that she always sees things through to the end. This is an expression of her determination and royal upbringing. King Refstor is pleased to note that Marianne appears healthy. His concern and warmth express a father's love and support. Marianne, beaming with happiness, falls to her knees before her father. This gesture conveys her deep gratitude for his attention and help. Looking into her father's eyes, Marianne thanks him for his support. Her sincere words are full of respect and admiration for his fatherly care. Baron Race confirms that Marianne has fully recovered, sharing her joy with the king. His words underline her success and health. Baron Rice emphasizes the importance of testing Marianne's knowledge, giving the moment a solemnity. His voice is full of anticipation of her success, which emphasizes the importance of the event. The Baron speaks of the importance of political knowledge for Marianne as a member of the royal family, testing her awareness of current events on the continent. Marianne confidently confirms that there is peace on the continent, demonstrating a deep understanding of the political situation. Her answers are admired by those present. All eyes are on Marianne, her confidence and knowledge inspiring respect and hope in those gathered, highlighting her importance to the future of the kingdom. Baron Reyes and his assistant listen to Marianne with interest, realizing that her education and intelligence play a key role in the fate of the kingdom. A man in an elegant shirt is deep in thought. His posture expresses a habit of deep analysis, and his gaze hints at hidden wisdom. The map presents a complex world with unique challenges. Mountain peaks, port towns, castles, and villages create a picturesque landscape full of stories and challenges. Urshan stands out for its traditions, personified by yurts and fortresses. The region's unique culture shapes its political and cultural identity. Princess Marianne, radiating grace, reflects on the fate of her people. Her pose and green hair emphasize strength and thoughtfulness. Serena is revealed through geography and cultural conflicts. The clashes and uniqueness of the region can lead to both understanding and discord. King Refstor and his advisors make an important decision. His posture reflects the weight of power that rests on his shoulders, like an invisible burden. The girl with blue eyes expresses concern. Her look speaks of the instability of the surrounding world and anxiety for the future of her people. Marianne shows openness and friendliness in communication. Her sincere interest in people goes beyond formalities, creating trust. Mrs. Malagueni, the strict ethics teacher, is ready for the exam. Her posture commands respect, emphasizing the discipline instilled in the students. The girl in red embodies joy and lightness. Her confidence gained through etiquette classes is clearly evident in her manners and sincere smile. The musicians play with concentration, creating harmony. Mr. Call on the violin unites sounds with the pianist and double bass player in a single piece. Marianne, dressed elegantly, sings with feeling. The teachers assess her every note, their emotions ranging from admiration to thoughtfulness. Genealogy teacher Cal smiles thoughtfully, as if he is thinking of a clever plan or an interesting riddle for his students. Marianne is ready for challenges, confidently taking on any question. Her enthusiasm shows that she sees it as just a game. The Refstor studies the documents, expressing surprise at his daughter's achievements. His face lights up with admiration for her success and hard work. Marianne's father, Refstor, expresses pride in her achievements, noting her hard work. He promises to devote more time to their communication, which pleases both. Teachers discuss Marianne's achievements, wondering how, despite her rare attendance at classes, she achieved such impressive results that do not fit into their expectations. Marianne happily thanks her mentors for their contribution to her achievements. Her shining eyes and sincere smile express deep gratitude and inner joy. The ref store opens the door, symbolizing the beginning of a new stage. In his movement and facial expression, one can feel hope and expectation of something significant. In the finale, Marianne is relieved to thank the teachers, whose support and mentoring helped her achieve success and achieve her goals. Ophelius gracefully touches the door, preparing for the meeting. Her movement and posture convey nobility, mystery, and intrigue, emphasizing the importance of the moment. In the sunny room, Ophelius drinks tea with grace and dignity. Her thoughtful gaze and calm create an atmosphere of inner balance and wisdom. Duke Radifon enters the room with an air of formality and severity. His manner and demeanor reflect the status and seriousness of the current events. Ophelius watches Radifon closely, her confident gaze and posture conveying authority and calm. She reads his anxiety and remains focused. Radiophon shares his concern about the news about Marion. His serious expression emphasizes his involvement in the discussion of important issues of the kingdom. Ophelius ponders the changes in Marion's behavior, trying to understand their causes. Her gaze betrays deep thoughts about the hidden meaning of the princess's actions. Radiophon ponders Marianne's character and the possible consequences of her actions, realizing how her decisions could affect their plans and ambitions. Ophelius confidently assumes that Marion will refuse to defend herself, her gaze radiating confidence and pride in her insight backed by experience. Radifon looks at Ophelius with respect and relief, confirming that she is right. His smile expresses admiration for her insight and intelligence. Marianne is eager to explore the area and invites others to join in. Her determination is evident in her eyes, and she is determined to find her way. The maid suggests that Marianne go somewhere, but she refuses without enthusiasm, showing that she has no inspiration or desire to choose a place. Recalling Marianne's recent memory problems, the maid suggests a walk, hoping that the nearby places will help the princess reconnect with her surroundings. As she walks, the maid remarks on how safe she feels around Marianne and wonders if the princess has changed due to circumstances or if it is her character. In the garden, Marianne observes the world around her, filled with kindness and life. These moments bring her inner peace and a sense of harmony. In front of the training field, the maid describes its structure, explaining to Marianne the functions of each part to give her a better understanding of warrior training. Marianne notices that the maid is speaking in detail, perhaps knowing about her amnesia. The princess wonders if she will be able to fully understand her current situation. The maid remembers the knights she saw and admires their courage. Her face lights up with joy from the vivid memories of those moments filled with inspiration. Watching Marianne, the maid assumes that the princess dreams of knightly exploits, seeing in her thoughtfulness the image of a young girl immersed in dreams. The maid suggests another walk, and although Marianne is indifferent to the idea, she does not object. Together, they continue to explore the quiet surroundings. The princess looks at the knights and is disappointed. Their movements seem clumsy and lack the beauty and strength she imagined in her dreams. The knights train with their swords, but their clumsy movements only add to Marianne's disappointment. She does not see in their actions the perfection she expected. During the fight, the knight makes a spectacular lunge, but the technique looks theatrical. Marianne notes that such techniques seem too showy and ineffective to her. The princess is perplexed by the knight's disregard for safety. Their behavior seems reckless to her, and this leaves her disappointed and confused. Turning away from her training, Marianne feels cheated. Her ideas about knightly valor do not match reality, leaving a bitter aftertaste. She notices the exhausted knight. His tired appearance and heavy breathing remind Marianne of how hard it is to be a warrior, filling her with sympathy and compassion. The knight, despite his fatigue, refuses Marianne's help, demonstrating his fortitude. His independence and strength of spirit emphasize his knightly dignity. After drinking the water, the knight feels relief, as if the drink were a life-giving elixir. His tired face gradually comes to life, reflecting gratitude for the help. Marianne and the knight exchange glances of understanding. In this silent moment, an invisible bond is born, strengthened by respect and the emotions experienced. The knight thanks Marianne, and their gazes are filled with respect. Their short but warm exchange of words makes the moment meaningful and unforgettable. The glass falls to the ground with a crash, spilling its contents. Marianne is stunned by the surprise, but quickly pulls herself together to cope with the situation. The princess bends down to pick up her glass, her embarrassment evident in every movement. However, she maintains her grace, trying to smooth over the awkwardness of the moment. Marianne smiles as she raises her glass, her confidence returning, and she's ready to turn the whole thing into a joke, though she still feels a little nervous inside. The maid looks at the princess, her face full of worry and confusion. She tries to understand what caused this unexpected incident that has disrupted their day. People look at each other in confusion, their faces expressing bewilderment. Everyone tries to understand what caused such an unexpected turn of events. The man in the raincoat puts his face under the water, his emotions conveying more than simple relief. It is a feeling of gratitude and deep appreciation for the moment. The princess is confused, trying to comprehend how her simple action caused such an unusual reaction. She is puzzled, but feels a quiet interest in the situation. The man who has lost control over Marianne's actions stands among the onlookers, equally shocked. This moment cements her image as a woman capable of surprise. The situation becomes funny for Marianne, and she thinks about how to use the resulting curiosity for entertainment. She is fascinated by how far this game can go. Under a shower of compliments, the man thanks Marianne, and she is no longer bored. Everything around comes alive, filled with excitement because of her simple but meaningful gesture. With a worried expression, Marianne asks about the crime. But then her expression softens as she seems to come to an important realization. The surprised man in armor expresses admiration for Marianne's beauty and regrets that he did not recognize her, immediately condemning his own inattention. Marianne notices the boy getting into trouble while those around him discuss what happened, offering help and wondering about his responsibility. The warrior in blue admires Marianne, calling her a rare beauty, and self-deprecatingly declares that he is unworthy of even the slightest of her attention. Marianne responds by noting the warrior's distinctive features, sharing her surprise at his beauty, which she says is truly unique. Looking at her reflection, Marianne agrees with the praise of those around her, confident in their sincerity, and asks a question as if testing this opinion. Marianne's friends next to her jokingly discuss her words, suggesting that her perception of beauty may have changed. Looking at her reflection with delight, Marianne is surprised by her perfection, not hiding her admiration, as if she is seeing herself for the first time. The warrior enthusiastically describes the softness of Marianne's skin and the sparkle in her eyes, praising her, but then jokingly compares these qualities to his own. A woman in the room notices Marianne admiring her beauty and wondering if the princess has recently left this place. In a manner full of anticipation, Marianne gently hints at forgiveness, setting an unknown condition on the fulfillment of which much depends. The advisor or servant standing before Marianne expresses his readiness to fulfill her will, realizing that important events depend on it. The charming princess gracefully shows the way, emphasizing with gestures, and looks the importance of subsequent actions. With confidence, Marianne turns to the servant with an unusual request, behind which lies the deep meaning of their relationship. The princess offers the man a change in his usual tasks, causing him surprise and possibly confusion. The servants surrounding Marianne admire the object which they perceive as a miracle created to adorn their mistress. The princess, smiling with confidence, sets the man a task that requires immediate implementation. Her sharp gaze expresses determination and expectation of success. The assembled group jokes, merrily immersing themselves in the joyful atmosphere. They unanimously evaluate the unexpected role of one of them, who enthusiastically demonstrates a new image. The man leaving the room sighs with relief, having avoided the worst, but his heart is weighed down by thoughts of the situation and the moments experienced leaving a deep mark. Marianne, at a table in the garden, gestures to a guest for tea. Her gaze glows with hospitality and expectation, and the atmosphere around her is filled with joy and warmth. A man in a woman's dress causes laughter and delight, wanting to attract Marianne's attention. She watches with amusement, surprised at how unexpectedly comical the situation has become. The maid looks critically at what is happening, reflecting on the strange events that stand out from the usual routine, as if challenging the everyday way of life. In the quiet, Marianne sits at the table, drinking tea, lost in her thoughts. The peace around her is in stark contrast to recent events, giving the moment special significance. The guests at the tables chat, and Marianne reminds them of the importance of etiquette, but her words seem forgotten in the relaxed, almost festive atmosphere. The princess drinks tea again, thinking how amazing it is that human relationships sometimes develop so harmoniously and unexpectedly pleasantly. The room is in chaos. The maids are sorting through boxes of clothes and gifts. The head maid tries to restore order, organizing the process with clear instructions. One of the maids carefully folds a Borden County dress, putting special care into the preparation and giving each element of the outfit the attention it deserves. The manager makes sure that everything goes perfectly. The orders are precise, the work is well coordinated. There is tension in the air and anticipation of an important event. The maids are crowded around the boxes of presents, each absorbed in her own task, and the atmosphere of the room is filled with the energy of preparation for the celebration. Marian, entering the room, is struck by the disorder that greets her. Her face expresses bewilderment and indignation. She did not expect such chaos. A maid in a dark dress offers Marianne to try on a fluffy dress, demonstrating her desire to help. Marianne looks confused, her gaze full of embarrassment. Marianne froze, unsure of what to do with the excessive attention. Her face was filled with confusion, as if she was at a loss in the face of this unexpected abundance. The maid is delighted with the gifts given to celebrate Marianne's recovery, but her joy contrasts with the princess's confusion, unable to understand their true meaning. Sitting among the gifts, Marianne wonders why she was not given personal attention, and wonders if these gifts are an attempt at bribery. The maid is astonished to hear Marianne call the lush dresses tasteless. Her shock is further increased by the princess's completely unexpected opinion. Another maid is perplexed to hear that Marianne's tastes have changed. She is shocked that the princess rejects the magnificent dresses that she once loved. Marianne categorically declares that she no longer wears lush clothes. This causes confusion among the maids, who did not expect such a drastic change in her preferences. The maids, completely immersed in unpacking the boxes, do not notice Marianne's confusion, continuing their work with diligence, demonstrating attention to every detail. One maid cautiously mentions a gift from the queen, but her face expresses doubt, as if she has a premonition that the princess will not approve of this choice. Marianne is surprised to see an aquarium instead of the expected vase. The maid, with her back turned, seems puzzled by the princess's request, adding to the tension in the situation. There is tension in the room as Marianne examines the gift from Ophelia. The maid ponders the strange gesture, which seems inappropriate and mysterious to her. The maid angrily questions Ophelia's choice, claiming that the fish symbolize betrayal rather than gratitude. Her words hint at hidden evil intentions. The valet warns that the fish are doomed to die if left together. His words sound like a warning about the destructive consequences of coexistence. The staff watches Marianne's reaction closely, but she remains calm. Her indifference makes the maids uneasy, as they were expecting a more emotional response. Marianne touches the aquarium with trepidation, carefully interacting with the fish, her gestures attempting to connect, while the maid watches with concern. The fish swim gracefully, creating a sense of harmony. For Marianne, they become an important symbol, hinting at the significance and deep meaning of the gift. The calm of the aquarium conceals a threat. The elegance of the fish contrasts with the hint of their aggression. This contrast enhances the feeling of hidden danger. The silhouettes of the fish suggest the tragedy hidden in their nature. The sad images give the scene an ominous tone, as if a harbinger of impending conflict. Marianne, seeing the fish as a sign of affection, becomes attached to the gift despite the hidden danger. Her tears reflect her inner struggle and determination. Thinking in the gloomy room, Marianne looked for a partner to play with, looking at the dresses. Her look expressed the desire to find something new and exciting. The attendant irritably dissuades Marianne from visiting the flower market, considering it an unbecoming activity for a princess, but she stubbornly maintains her decision. Hiding behind the closet, Marianne reflected on the past days. Her smile hinted at a return to the plans that gave her a sense of passion and joy. Marianne held the list of events, looking forward to the entertainment to come. Her face was aglow with joy, reflecting the careful thought she had put into the upcoming leisure time. Offering him a drink, Marianne assured him that it would relieve fatigue. Her confident gestures contrasted with the man's distrust, who doubted her words. After the drink, the men complained of strange sensations. One went numb, the other felt an unpleasant taste, which caused them obvious dissatisfaction. Marianne hugged the dress, radiating happiness. She wondered who would become the new princess, her eyes shining with excitement and anticipation of the upcoming events. Two men argue over who will try on an outfit. First, the irritation grows. Passers-by notice their fatigue from the game and the desire to quickly end this useless squabble. Marianne suggested a beauty contest inspired by the idea of trying on dresses. She thought it was funny, but the men expressed displeasure, considering her suggestion inappropriate. Princess Marian, looking out the window, reflects on skipping dinner. Her boredom and lack of plans are emphasized by her facial expression and reluctance to participate in the events. The maid anxiously reminds Marian of the upcoming dinner with her father. The princess is hesitant, wondering if this day really requires her participation. The maid hands over a simple dress, noting the importance of appearance at a dinner where the royal family will gather. She emphasizes the importance of maintaining etiquette. As she appraises the dress with displeasure, Marian reflects on the burdens of tradition. The rituals seem meaningless to her, increasing her dislike of such formalities. The princess is unhappy with her dress, believing that it does not suit her. The discomfort is intensified by thoughts of the upcoming dinner, causing irritation and internal resistance. In the corridor of the castle, Marian reflects on the meaninglessness of family events, which seem to her a waste of time, devoid of sincerity and real interest. In the hall, the princess is surprised to see the family's noisy behavior. This disappoints her even more, reinforcing the sense of the uselessness of traditional dinners. A battle between demons breaks out in the castle's dining room, startling Marianne, who is accustomed to order and traditional manners, making this all the more strange. Standing by the door, Marianne reflects on the pointlessness of family rituals. Her doubts about the usefulness of such gatherings become more and more evident. King Refstor's arrival brings a sense of warmth. His joy at seeing his daughter shows a strong bond despite the chaos. Marian looks at the new guests at the table with bewilderment, surprised at how quickly she was able to recognize each of them, even though she was seeing them for the first time. Ariane, a red-haired woman with a thin smile, seems to be an important figure. Marian watches her actions, trying to understand what makes her so important. An elegant man confidently declares his superiority even before a demon. His steadfastness emphasizes his strength of character and ability to maintain dignity. The bespectacled youth mockingly notes his connection to the group. His vast knowledge and wit set him apart, adding to the impression of an unusual member. Ophelia, a blonde, with a welcoming smile, radiates joy from meeting. Her friendliness immediately creates an atmosphere of warmth and ease in communication with others. Marianne apologizes for being late, sincerely and sheepishly. Her politeness and respect for those around her are warmly received, calming her anxiety. She explains that she has been preparing for the evening for a long time. Her excitement and anticipation confirm how important it is for her to be noticed and appreciated by those around her. Marian enters anxious not to keep anyone waiting. Her respect for her guests is obvious, and their anticipation makes the moment of her arrival special. At the table, thanks are given for the wait and requests to hurry up. The words create an atmosphere of haste, emphasizing the importance of the upcoming event and the general concentration. Marianne's mother expresses pride in her transformation. The warmth of her speech and looks demonstrate gratitude for her daughter's efforts to repair her reputation and strengthen family ties. The young man with golden hair looks away in surprise, trying to figure out someone else's intentions. His silence and thoughtfulness reflect his inner doubts and confusion. The family gathers around the table in tension. The gray-haired man notices the changes in his stepdaughter, and the golden-haired woman is embarrassed when she is called mother. The gray-haired man's laughter about his stepdaughter's closeness to the queen is mixed with the queen's concern about her well-being. In response, she receives only an embarrassed look. The girl smiles at the audience, emphasizing that joy adorns a person. The seated man reminds the queen of something, but her attention is completely absorbed by her stepdaughter's smile. Queen Ophelius speaks of her stepdaughter's health, rejoicing at her well-being. Marianne thanks her in return, expressing politeness and demonstrating sincere appreciation. The young man reproachfully mentions Marianne's avoidance of social events. She listens to him calmly, without showing emotion, but her imperturbability underlines her confidence. The queen discusses the changes in her stepdaughter's life, her interest in common people. Despite the rumors, she does not condemn her, accepting her daughter's choice and showing support. At dinner, the queen raises a glass to her stepdaughter's health, expressing concern. Her gesture contrasts with the displeasure of the man next to her, demonstrating her strength and kindness. Marian listens to the comments about the rumors, with a smile, remaining calm. She does not show anxiety even before discussing her personal life, remaining confident. The queen and her stepdaughter discuss events supporting each other. Their union remains strong despite misunderstandings and the pressure of public rumors. Ryan, in a luxurious room, speaks with disdain of the warriors, considering them unworthy. His facial expression and posture emphasize the confidence in his own superiority. On the training field, he is in a state of battle, criticizing the warriors, highlighting their origins. His words reinforce the class divide, emphasizing arrogance. Ryan gestures angrily around the room, repeating his accusations. He does not hide his emotions, demonstrating an unwillingness to listen to other people's opinions and respect them. Marion looks at Ryan, wanting to understand his opinion of the warriors. Her gaze is full of sincerity and heaviness. She demands clarification, assessing the situation objectively. Sitting with her back to the ground, Marion expresses her attitude towards Ryan's rumors and words about warriors. Her posture and face convey concern and disappointment with this conversation. Ophelis, next to Ryan, expresses concern and questions his words. Her concern for harmony in the kingdom manifests itself in her desire to maintain justice. In a dark room, Marion reflects on her attitude towards the warriors. She feels awkward and unworthy of their respect, torn apart by internal doubts. Marion looks at Ryan with disdain and disappointment. She condemns him for his arrogance and injustice, passing a moral verdict with no chance of vindication. Ryan, standing in front of Marion, looks remorseful, his face expressing his reluctance to admit his mistake, but it is clear that he is ready to reconsider his views and behavior. Over dinner, Marion speaks seriously to Ryan about his distance from the warriors. Her words sound like an accusation of ignoring their real lives, which causes Ryan confusion. In a rich hall, the aristocrats are gathered for dinner. Marion expresses concern that if the tension does not subside, even more unusual and disturbing events await them ahead. The maids whisper about Princess Marion, considering her cruel and cold, and predict the imminent onset of something strange that could change the usual course of events. Marion turns to Ophelis with a slight smile, mentioning their concern for each other, which adds irony to her request for forgiveness, accompanying it with words of reconciliation. Ophelis happily responds to Marion, claiming that she is the one worthy of forgiveness, creating a light and warm atmosphere in their conversation, emphasizing their mutual understanding. Duke Radifon notices how well Marion and the Queen are communicating and suggests that they move on to the main discussion at dinner, demonstrating a desire to maintain peace and harmony. Broken glass on the floor evokes a sense of anxiety, symbolizing growing discord. It reinforces the sense that conflict is coming, threatening to disturb the fragile peace. The maid looks at the glass shards puzzled. Her face shows fear of the consequences of this incident, which could be the beginning of big changes. Ophelis, wounded by shrapnel, cries out words of pain, breaking the silence of the dinner, and highlighting the beginning of a conflict that promises to escalate into a more serious confrontation. Duke Radifon, worried about what happened, tries to restore order, turning to the Queen for support. His face expresses tension and the desire to avoid further quarrels. Ophelis, turning away, expresses anger and disappointment. She blames others for her experiences, emphasizing that she expected different behavior, but was unpleasantly surprised. Duke Radifon is overcome with betrayal, barely containing his anger. His gaze reflects the internal struggle between disappointment and the hope of restoring trust. Ophelis maintains an outward calm, but her face expresses confusion and shock at the recent events, highlighting her inner chaos and attempts to understand her stepdaughter's motives. Princess Marianne is struggling with her emotions in tears. Her clenched hands and convulsive sighs speak of the weight of her experiences and fear of the consequences of her recent decisions. The counselor, the embodiment of calm, tries to console Marianne, discussing the difficulties in the kingdom. He shares possible options, trying to support her in a difficult moment. Marianne reacts anxiously to the conversation outside the door regarding her fate. She feels uncertain and doubtful, trying to understand how the changes will affect her future. Marianne's wistful smile reflects confidence in the changes to come. She imagines her freedom from Radifon and the possibilities that will come with her new independent life. Inspired by hope, Marianne ponders her plans for the future. Her lightness and bright smile become a symbol of a new stage where she again feels the joy of life. The warriors discuss an unexpected event that has disrupted their routine. Their surprise and confusion highlight the mystery of the situation, which brings chaos to the usual order. Marianne's arrival causes mixed feelings among the warriors. Their leader expresses respect for her, but remains ready to act, demonstrating the complexity of their perception. With a calm face and upright posture, Marianne faces the upcoming challenges with confidence. Her inner world finds harmony, strengthening her determination to overcome obstacles. Princess Marianne notices the confusion among the soldiers. Her gaze is full of questions about the cause of their condition. This causes empathy and interest in what is happening in the viewer. The officer, with a mocking expression on his face, comments on the order to attack the bakery, gesturing to show the absurdity of the situation. This increases the irony of the scene and emphasizes the absurdity. Marianne is sad about the fate of the soldiers whose lives are limited to bread. Her anxious gaze reflects deep empathy and compassion for their dismal existence and deprivation. The soldiers feel despised and unwanted. They experience internal conflict as they try to make sense of their actions and restore their lost sense of self-worth. A young blonde soldier reflects on the injustices of the world, his eyes full of the knowledge that efforts often go unrecognized. He is sad about the impossibility of changing this. The soldiers, united by a sense of confusion, begin to wonder whether they deserve the alienation they live in. It reflects their loss of confidence in themselves and their abilities. One soldier, full of bitterness, speaks of how society has stopped expecting anything from them. His words express the pain caused by the lack of hope and understanding from others. The tension mounts as an officer with a whip approaches Marianne, hinting at the possibility of punishment. The scene raises questions about her fortitude in the face of the coming ordeal. Marianne suddenly shows resistance by pushing the officer. This highlights her determination to stand up for herself, making us admire her fortitude in the face of injustice. The stunned officer is shocked by Marianne's rebuff. His face reflects surprise and helplessness, demonstrating the abrupt turn in the scene and its emotional intensity. The knight explains the reason for the blow to one of the soldiers. His gaze is serious and determined, but the other knights look at him with disapproval, increasing the tension between them. Marianne firmly tells the knights that to gain respect, they must earn it through their actions. Her confident gaze and voice emphasize her desire to change their behavior. The knight says ironically that Marianne is his entertainment. His slight smile and mocking look emphasize his frivolous attitude to her words, intensifying the conflict. Marianne responds harshly to ridicule, demanding seriousness from the knights. Her confident look and words emphasize her desire for discipline and responsibility among them. The knight asks with feigned surprise if Marianne is disregarding their dignity. His sarcasm and feigned resentment reflect his unwillingness to take her demands seriously. Marianne is irritated to see that the knights are having fun, but not joking with her. Her posture with crossed arms and tone of voice emphasize her resentment and dissatisfaction with their behavior. The knight states that Marianne's arrogance prevents her from taking them seriously. His facial expressions express irritation, increasing the tension in their conflict and the contrasting positions. Marianne angrily accuses the knights of clowning around. Her energetic gestures and harsh words reflect the intensity of her emotions, emphasizing her indignation and determination to defend her views. One of the knights recalls how Marianne defended them and is genuinely surprised by her actions. His words and facial expression reflect admiration and gratitude to the princess. The knights act out a scene where Marianne plays the role of an angry ruler. It is a fun game where the participants enjoy socializing, creating an atmosphere of unity. The man in uniform speaks respectfully of Marianne, acknowledging her kindness and reliability. His gratitude and admiration are reflected in his gestures and the look he directs at her. In the devotional pose, the man addresses Marianne as his princess. His knees on the ground symbolize his willingness to serve her and follow her orders. Looking up, the man asks Marianne about leadership. His open face and sincere gaze express his hope of being accepted as a subject and his confidence in her decision. Marianne, lost in thought, ponders the authenticity of the man's words. Her gaze is thoughtful, and her thoughts are focused on finding the truth in his words and behavior. The knights bow their heads to Marianne, affirming their loyalty. One of them firmly declares their unity and readiness to follow her, emphasizing the seriousness of their intentions. Marianne responds with joy, seeing the knights as new allies. She is inspired by their support, expressing satisfaction and optimism that strengthens her resolve. Remiel confirms his loyalty to Marianne with a serious expression. His firm gaze and serious expression emphasize his sincere devotion to his sister. Siren takes the situation in his stride with a smile. His easygoing laugh creates a friendly atmosphere, easing the tension and making the moment feel more relaxed. Remiel, left among the flowers, is lost in thought. His furtive gaze reflects his thoughts about the future and his worries about what it might bring. Siren discusses recent events with ease and optimism, adding a playfulness to the situation. His demeanor creates an atmosphere of joy and hope in an otherwise tense environment. Remiel is surprised when Siren mentions Marian's argument with the queen. He is confused and does not understand what is being discussed, which adds intrigue to the situation. Siren, holding a pitcher of drink, recalls how Marianne was unable to change the queen's mind. His smile hints at the queen's strength and the challenges the princess faced. Siren notices that the princess has changed, sensing something new in her. His words sound mysterious, leaving an impression of the mystery surrounding Marianne. Siren discusses the mysterious aura emanating from the princess, highlighting her changes. His words make one wonder about the hidden aspects of her character and actions. Remiel reflects on the connection between the name Eric and recent events. His gaze is full of worry, indicating his anxiety and inner worries. They discuss Marianne's activities in the knight's company. Her actions arouse suspicion and interest, reinforcing the assumptions about the hidden motives of her behavior. Remiel, standing in the shadows, denies knowledge of what interests Siren. His behavior arouses the latter's suspicions, prompting him to find out the truth. Siren wonders with suspicion if Remiel is hiding something important. His gaze is full of doubt and the desire to reveal the truth in the words and actions of the interlocutor. Siren reproaches Remiel for his inattention to everyday affairs, considering this strange for someone who should be involved in public life and not just in military duties. Siren reminds him of the importance of training, and Remiel gets into an awkward situation when he accidentally drops his towel during a conversation, putting him in a difficult position. Remiel criticizes the squad's behavior with displeasure, but is distracted by Marianne. The princess ponders the reasons why her brother leaves her alone again. Marianne is concerned that Remiel avoids confrontation by leaving under the pretext of business. She is troubled by his tendency to shirk responsibility and avoid communication. As Remiel leaves, he mentions meeting Cain, leaving Marianne with problems. She feels burdened with worries, while her brother avoids solving the problems. Marianne realizes the importance of understanding the needs of the soldiers to improve the training. She decides to delve deeper into their problems to find an effective way to improve the situation. The princess turns decisively to the warriors to correct their training deficiencies. She seeks to find out what is preventing them from achieving greater success. By analyzing the soldiers' words, Marianne looks for ways to improve skills and morale through more effective and targeted training. Reflecting, Marianne realizes that persistence and discipline are not enough to succeed. Something more is needed to achieve the goal, something that will inspire the warriors. She comes to the conclusion that a comprehensive approach is needed: physical and mental training support for soldiers, as well as providing them with the necessary equipment. Overcoming her doubts, Marianne approaches the warriors, determined to offer solutions that will help improve all aspects of their combat training. Remiel hints at the maid's disapproval, but Marianne confidently states that she has already found a way to negotiate, demonstrating her ability to resolve issues herself. The knight watches Marianne in her unusual clothes with surprise. His companion is also amazed by her appearance, which is different from the usual image of a princess. Standing before Marianne, the knights were puzzled by her sudden appearance. Their confusion was reflected in their facial expressions, which did not hide their excitement. Tensions rise when a knight suddenly attacks his comrade, leaving those around him stunned as they witness the sudden surge of aggression. The knight regretfully admits the mistakes in training the soldiers. His gestures express remorse, and his comrades around him are depressed by the situation and clearly upset. Marianne suddenly announces her desire to participate in the knight's training. Her words shock the soldiers, who doubt her seriousness. The soldiers hesitate, thinking that her intentions may be a joke. One of the knights expresses doubts about the sincerity of the princess's decision. Marianne shows determination by holding the sword with both hands, proving her readiness to participate in the training. Her face is full of confidence. She warns the knights of the consequences of revealing her decision to the royal court, adding gravity and weight to her words. Against the backdrop of a huge stadium, Marianne holding a sword reminds us of the importance of the upcoming tournament, her determination visible in her posture. She is ready for a test where honor and the title of the best will be the highest reward. Her sword, pointing towards the sky, symbolizes the upcoming battle. Victory will give the participants glory and recognition, making the tournament an important event where everyone is ready to give everything for success. A focused Marianne demonstrates her mastery of the sword. By deciding to improve herself, she proves her independent and strong-willed nature. During her training, Marianne feels a strange tension. Her gaze encounters a mysterious phenomenon that causes both delight and confusion before the unknown. While training, she encounters a difficulty. The sword seems heavier. This makes her think about her powers and the reasons for what is happening, but she decides to fight to the end. Marianne does not give up maneuvering her sword with confidence and skill. This highlights her determination to overcome any obstacles with willpower and skill. After the exercise, she notices that the sword has become even heavier. This change raises questions in her mind, and she decides to find the cause of this strangeness in order to deal with it. Her mentor advises focus, magic, and peace, pointing out the importance of combining physical and mystical skills in combat training. In her search for strength, she turns to dark forces, hoping to awaken her hidden power. This highlights her connection to magic and her desire to become stronger to achieve her goal. In the midst of a storm, possibly caused by her magic, she struggles for control. This highlights the internal conflict between the desire for power and the fear of losing oneself. Realizing that her old teaching methods aren't working, she tells the crowd that change is needed. This demonstrates her flexibility ability to adapt and seek out new things. The loss of her skills leaves her in despair. The feeling of vulnerability and confusion is reflected in her state of doubting herself and her path to success. Confused, she turns to the call. Her face expresses her inner struggle and fear of what awaits her, heightening the sense of tension in the moment. The situation is heating up. The people around are looking at each other with alarm, their faces expressing apprehension. It seems that they sense the approach of events that can change their future. A sudden change in mood. Anxiety gives way to joy and confidence, as if Marianne had found a solution to a difficult problem. This sudden inspiration gives hope. Holding the sword, she concentrates on the trials ahead. Lost in thought, she leaves all unnecessary things behind, focusing on the path to the goal. Marianne pulls her assistant along with determination, moving quickly and confidently. Her facial expressions and movements convey urgency, showing that delay is unacceptable. Her falling to her knees in a desperate plea conveys the gravity of the situation. She seems to be looking for a last chance to escape the situation and find a solution. She quickens her steps, completely focused on her goal. Her movements, gaze, and determination speak of her readiness to overcome any obstacles. The castle's decoration with 2 moons creates a magical atmosphere where reality and magic intertwine. This foreshadows the great events to come within these walls. The magic circle in the center of the hall shines like a portal to other worlds, enveloping the space in mystery and magic. Its glow evokes awe and anticipation of future mysterious events. Marianne finds herself in a place full of unknown possibilities. Her relief at the success of her journey is noticeable in contrast to the past, where failures caused self-doubt. As she packs her room, Marianne considers how magic could relieve her suffering. Deciding to take action, she sets herself up to solve problems efficiently, avoiding unnecessary trouble. Such a heavy burden makes Marianne think about the reasons for the heaviness. She feels tired, and the burden of responsibility that increases with every step. As she wanders through the deserted corridor of the castle, she is surprised by the absence of people at this important moment for her. A feeling of loneliness and abandonment fills her thoughts in this silence. Each step up the stairs adds to the physical challenge. She thinks about the fragility of human nature and how the limitations of the body affect the accomplishment of great tasks. The knock on the door and the lack of response leaves her disappointed. The space feels empty and cold, adding to the feeling of being lost and confused. When the bag falls on her, the frustration reaches its peak. Her efforts seem in vain, and the unexpected blow increases her feeling of powerlessness in the face of circumstances. Marianne feels despair at not being able to use magic and the unacceptability of searching for things in other people's rooms. She feels helpless in such a situation. Having reached her goal, Marianne runs into a man who is surprised by her appearance. The meeting is unexpected, full of bewilderment, and increases the princess's internal tension. The green-haired man looks shocked, enveloped in magic. Next to him is Urasina in the form of Marianne, and their sudden meeting leaves both of them surprised. Urasina, stunned by the situation, silently examines the man. She is wary, but the strong feelings caused by this meeting are visible in her gaze. Urasina radiates joy, although she does not remember the man's name. Her eyes are shining, and the sincerity of her emotions is visible. The man looks confused by such a statement. The man is amazed when he recognizes Urasina. His face reflects a mixture of amazement and admiration. Her presence clearly makes a strong impression on him. Urasina, with the magic wand, looks triumphant and determined. She is ready for the meeting that was her goal. The man struck by this does not know how to react. Having misjudged the man's intentions, Urasina is embarrassed and apologizes. The man takes it calmly, showing that he does not hold a grudge, and the situation quickly diffuses. The relief of avoiding conflict leaves Urasina with a sense of gratitude. The man expresses support and understanding, strengthening their mutual connection. Urasina is animatedly interested in the whereabouts of her parents. The man points in the right direction, offering to accompany her and support her along the way. By offering to accompany her, a man demonstrates politeness and willingness to help. His respectful attitude inspires trust and gratitude in Urasina. Urasina asks for directions to her parents, and the man pointing to the living room offers to show her. His help shows a desire to support her and be useful. Urasina and her companion move along a magic circle, anticipating an important event. The architecture around them goes beyond the boundaries of reality, and the figure of a warrior in the distance seems to guard their path. The Demon King quietly drinks tea while waiting. He is informed of the Queen's return, which is likely an important event for the kingdom. The King and Queen are in uproar in a luxurious room. A broken cup on the floor symbolizes an unexpected turn of events, possibly related to the daughter. Urasina has an emotional conversation with her father, who is concerned about her sudden disappearance and subsequent return. The Queen warmly embraces Urasina, showing the joy of their reunion and the deep connection between them. The nobles are gathered in the hall. The Queen asks Urasina about her adventures, raising intrigue around her long absence. The youth discuss the chaos following Urasina's disappearance. The king's decision to kill her has caused unrest in the kingdom. The elf tells how the king missed Urasina, showing how important she is to her father. Urasina happily shares her adventures, mentioning the first contract that made her a wine demon and changed her destiny. Urasina explains that her absence is due to a mysterious contract, hinting at many hidden stories. Urasina confesses to her parents that she cannot wield a sword or magic. Her gaze is full of despair, and the sword seems alien to her. Urasina expresses frustration at her inability to control her body. Even a long sword and a half is too heavy for her. The Demon Queen suggests that Urasina has not tested her magical abilities, and the king confirms this, pointing out her lack of practice. Urasina realizes the weakness of her magical energy and is overcome with despair, not understanding how her body became helpless. Urasina, in her childish guise, capriciously complains about the contract, which brought her only problems without giving her any reward in return. Urasina shows impatience in searching for a quick solution to her problems, emphasizing this with energetic gestures. The Demon King, usually calm, rubs his chin, hinting at a change and a possible departure from his usual methods. Urasina, between her parents, embodies the strength of the family. Together, they are ready to overcome any challenges. Urasina, as Marian laughs at her parents' reactions, confused by her transformation, while she feels like her old self. The Demon Queen, joyfully and humorously, makes fun of Urasina's magical appearance, anticipating her new magical accomplishments. The Demon King supports Urasina, emphasizing the importance of her first contract and role in the human world, but warns of the risks of overloading her abilities in pursuit of success. The mother assures Urasina of her powers, reminding her to hide the nature of the demonic contract from outsiders so as not to attract unnecessary attention and keep the secret. The elf in the green vest respectfully offers support and accompaniment in her affairs, demonstrating a willingness to help in any difficult situations that may arise along the way. The demons discuss plans, exchanging ideas on how to prepare for the meeting and how to achieve success. Their discussion is full of energy and aims for harmony and action. The elf regrets parting with Urasina, but promises to return. His words, full of sincerity, inspire hope that his absence will not weaken her spirit. The elf gives Urasina some advice, advising her to maintain a good mood to avoid conflicts, and warns her of the importance of taking thoughtful actions along the way. Urasina remembers her friend Kay, whose calm presence always helped her. This warm memory makes her smile and feel inner peace. The thoughtful elf hopes for a bright future for Urasina. His gaze expresses a wish for harmony, leaving a feeling of peace in everyone around him. The elf sees through the magic sphere Marian standing among the fireflies in a hall with high windows where streams of light and swirls create an atmosphere of magic. Marianne awakens in a luxurious bedroom with soft morning light. Her gaze full of surprise and slight protest glides over the decor, emphasizing her royal position. Marianne sits on her bed in the sun, lost in thought. It's as if she's delaying the start of the day, contemplating the responsibilities that lie ahead. Marianne enjoys a quiet morning while the maid quietly cleans. The magic of the moment creates an atmosphere of peace, despite her desire to put things off. In the bathroom, Marianne, surrounded by foam, reflects on the nightly company awaiting her leadership. The water, reflecting her thoughts, complements her pensive state. Marianne's smile radiates enthusiasm and a willingness to inspire the knights, opening a new chapter in their story. Her eyes sparkle, promising change. Marianne greets the knights with dignity, radiating confidence and warmth. Her attitude shows how much she values her comrades in the bright hall. The sword no longer feels heavy in Marianne's hands. She wields it with grace, finding harmony with the weapon, which emphasizes her mastery. In training, Marianne turns sword control into a dance. Her movements are full of strength and determination, each swing reflecting her spirit. The force of Marianne's blow creates the illusion of a floral swirl. This moment demonstrates her inner fire and the pinnacle of her skill. Marianne considers a name for her skill, realizing that her own choice sounds most expressive and suits her personality. The silence in the room underlines the knights' impression of Marianne. Their admiring glances reflect respect and admiration for her confidence. Marianne suddenly attracts the attention of a knight who is struck by her qualities and asks her to train him. She responds with bewilderment and surprise, not understanding the reasons for such a request. A serious-minded Marianne invites Borgia to spar, demonstrating her readiness to fight and her determination to show off her skills. Marianne is puzzled as to why she cannot fight the Borgias, and firmly states that she wants to prove her abilities in battle despite her doubts. The knight warns Marianne about the risks of real combat versus a sparring match, trying to convince her to consider the consequences. In a humorous manner, Marianne mentions rumors about the Borgia's physical fitness, which causes confusion and awkwardness among the knights present. Stepping away confidently, Marianne asks the knights not to worry about her. Her gait radiates independence and firm determination. She enthusiastically tells the knights that she will show off her abilities, assuring them that her skills in battle are worthy of respect and should not be underestimated. The knights look at each other, their gazes full of surprise and admiration, caused by Marianne's courage and steadfastness in her intentions. Standing before the knight, Marianne exudes confidence. The knights discuss her steadfastness, agreeing that she always keeps her word and does not back down. The knight, doubting her words, challenges Marianne to a duel, testing whether she is ready to confirm her determination with actions. Determined, Marianne accepts the challenge. Her gaze is focused, she is determined to win, and full of the will to fight. Making a sudden lunge, Marianne surprises the knight with her agility and precision, demonstrating her readiness for an intense fight. The knight realizes that Marianne's speed exceeds his expectations. Her maneuverability puts him in a difficult position, forcing him to strain himself. Every blow Marianne strikes proves her superiority. Her power and precision force the knight to retreat, forcing him to acknowledge her strength. Marianne's pressure does not weaken. She combines speed with power. Her blows require the knight to exert maximum effort to defend himself. With a strong attack, Marianne puts the knight in a difficult position. Her blows are precise and powerful, and his defense becomes less stable. The knight tries to maintain his balance, but Marianne's superiority becomes obvious. Her technique forces him to retreat. Marianne ends the fight with a powerful blow, proving her skill. The knight is left amazed by her abilities and agility. Confident and resilient, Marianne continues to show her skills. Her ability to lead knights is inspiring and respectful. A focused warrior prepares for battle, demonstrating experience and endurance. His posture and gaze speak of skills acquired over the years. The dark-haired warrior with the scythe gracefully repels the attack, her movements reminiscent of choreography. It is a test of her skill and character, where her skills and instincts are on full display, causing admiration among those around her. Like a dancer, Marianne parries blows with ease, remaining calm and in control in a dangerous situation. Her confidence and grace on the battlefield leave a lasting impression on observers. At the center of the battle, Marianne and her opponent are locked in a tense standoff. Their weapons and wills fight for the upper hand, and every second of the confrontation could be decisive in this evenly matched duel. After a fierce battle, Marianne rests her gaze filled with calm and satisfaction. Thoughtfully assessing her successes, she considers plans for the future, ready to move forward. The men are stunned by the unexpected turn of events, their faces reflecting amazement and mixed feelings, because what they encountered turned out to be beyond their expectations. Princess Marianne shares her experiences with the knights, her words full of valuable instructions. They listen to her with attention and noticeable trepidation, realizing her authority and the significance of her lessons. Marianne smiles, her eyes sparkling with intelligence, heralding something new. The knights try to understand the hidden meaning of her words, to learn from her wise teachings. The man shares words of wisdom. His advice is as precise and accurate as the blows of a sword. They reflect his deep understanding of the principles of combat discipline and the importance of study, which impresses the listeners. Marianne's smile speaks of her pleasure in what is happening. Her joyful expression emphasizes that thoughts and conversations fill her soul with pleasant emotions. Marianne appears before a group of people with confidence and unusual strength. Her sudden appearance and mysterious hints cause surprise, causing those around her to freeze in confusion. Marianne observes a group of young people discussing the challenges ahead without sales. Their conversations are filled with anxiety about the upcoming festival and uncertainty about the future. Turning her back to her interlocutors, Marianne calmly says that her actions have been successful. She confidently distributes tasks, outlining clear steps for further progress. Marianne runs forward with a smile, her movements light and musical. Her illuminated face reflects the anticipation of adventure, and her inner mood pleases those around her with its sincerity. In the sunshine, Marianne reminds herself of the importance of joy and simple pleasures. Her mischievous smile and sparkle in her eyes speak of her mood to enjoy life's moments. Amidst the vibrant noise of the market, Marianne watches her surroundings with curiosity, her gaze full of thoughts about how many people will gather for the upcoming festival, anticipating the atmosphere of the event. In front of the food stall, Marianne is delighted by the new aromas and tastes. Her interest in unusual dishes grows, awakening a desire to try something unique and memorable. The vendor offers Marianne a pork shashlik with vegetables, assuring her that its taste is unique. His good-natured smile enhances the overall impression and adds warmth to the moment of communication. Marianne admires the shashlik, her eyes sparkling with pleasure. She understands that it is simple pleasures, like good food, that create the atmosphere that makes the market a place of happiness. A woman in a blue coat asks the saleswoman for something tasty, adding a festive feeling to the atmosphere. The joy of children's laughter completes the picture of a bright and carefree fair. The joy of the market is interrupted when a warrior in black turns around at the noise. The man shouts at the woman to stop. The tension rises, and a sense of unease quickly fills the air. A frightened woman in panic seeks help from a warrior in black. Her face reflects fear, and her eyes are filled with despair and a weak hope for salvation. Her pleas sound like the last chance for protection in this difficult situation. A tense moment ensues between the woman and the warrior. She demands an explanation for his disappearance, but the warrior's silence remains enigmatic, creating an atmosphere of mystery that he is clearly in no hurry to reveal. The scene is interrupted by a warrior's acquaintance, inviting them to join the company. This foreshadows unexpected events, where fun and danger mix, setting a new vector for their interaction. The encounter is escalated by a warning to be prepared to fight if they flee. Tensions rise, and the threat of impending danger begins to be felt around them. The man with a sly smile notes that external attractiveness is often deceptive. His words hint at hidden betrayal that can be veiled by a pleasant appearance. The situation takes on an ironic tone when the warrior admits that he cannot fence. His clumsiness creates a comical contrast with his stern and frightening appearance. A man approaches another man with a challenge, provoking tension. A woman watching their confrontation is filled with anxiety, waiting for the outcome of the conflict. The man recognizes the warrior as a famous bandit. The atmosphere changes, and respect for his reputation causes unexpected emotions in those present, emphasizing the complexity of the situation. The man in the brown vest retreats under the swift attack, realizing that his opponent has surpassed him in agility and strength. Her actions surprise him and put him in a difficult position. A puzzled girl in a blue cloak tries to comprehend the sudden change of scenery. She holds on tightly, her expression a mixture of excitement and surprise at the new threat. Princess Marian tries to defend herself against the armed man. With a cry of determination, she parries the blows but feels weak, unprepared for such a fierce attack that knocks her off balance. Concentrating, Marian parries the blow of her opponent's sword, sparks flying from the clash of steel. Her confidence grows, and the will to win burns in her eyes, strengthening her fighting spirit. The man in the brown vest is shocked by Marian's resistance. He realizes that her strength and agility far exceed his expectations, and his face reflects extreme surprise. Marian is puzzled by the sudden appearance of her savior. His actions open a new chapter of her life filled with mysteries that she has yet to unravel. A mysterious warrior in dark clothing attracts the attention of the locals. His determined appearance and promise to protect Marian cause admiration and a wave of discussion among the crowd. The eyes of Marian's savior radiate determination and strength. They convey the promise of protection, and his body is ready for trials, foreshadowing determined support in any circumstances. A man in a brown vest full of determination challenges his opponent. His voice conveys tension and a willingness to stand firm despite the obvious threats and danger. Lone defender Marian reflects on the gravity of the moment, weariness evident on his face as he searches for a way out of the chaos, struggling with an internal battle and considering his next steps. Marianne watches the fight cloaked in her cloak. The man in black knocks the sword out of the enemy's hands, sparks fly, emphasizing the intensity of the moment and the danger of the situation. Another warrior swings his sword threateningly towards Marian. Her gaze is focused and cold, demonstrating determination and a willingness to face danger without fear. In response to the attack, the man in black deftly parries the blow, throwing away the enemy's sword. The counterattack alerts the enemy, forcing him to retreat, which increases the tension. Marianne appears bored or mocking. Her eyes under her hood sparkle with irony and confidence, as if she knows the outcome of the battle. Shouts of surprise ring out as the green-haired foe stumbles to the ground. Marian, unfazed by the chaos, continues on her way. The man in black's comrade is puzzled, his face expressing confusion. He looks for help, but there is none. The man in black realizes his mistake. He freezes, listening to the sound of Marianne's footsteps, feeling the distance growing. Marian thinks sadly about what happened. Her gaze fixed on the houses. In her eyes there is regret that she was not thanked. The man in dark has mixed feelings after the unexpected outburst, while his friend is amused by the situation, adding comedy. Marian feels hurt, her brows furrowing. The man's words cut deeper than she expected, leaving her disappointed. Indignation and resentment overwhelm Marianne at the accusation of cowardice. Her face expresses a mixture of anger and insult. The young man calmly declares his cowardice, making it clear that he means Marian, since there is no one else around. Confusion and hurt are reflected in Marian's eyes as she considers the situation with the helmet that made her weird. Marianne realizes that the woman she dealt with was in cahoots with the robbers. Her despair deepens with this revelation. By screaming, Marianne exposes not just a con man, but a worthless slacker. Her emotions are at their peak, and she wants to leave. The man Marianne turns to remains indifferent. His departure symbolizes a refusal to help. Marianne persistently pursues the man, wondering how he can be so indifferent to what happened. The man is cold to Marianne, which increases her frustration at losing money due to his inaction. Marianne resolutely grabs the man by the clothes, showing desperation and a desire to get to the truth. In despair, Marianne reproaches the man for the loss of her funds. Her voice is full of pain and anger. In a medieval town, Marianne demands her money back. She is imperious, and the man in black stands silent, hiding his emotions. Receiving no answer, Marianne grabs the man's bag, proving the absurdity of the situation. Her actions are decisive, but the man is unfazed. She is seething with anger, thinking that because of him, her first trip to the market has been ruined. Marianne's indignation knows no bounds, but the man remains unperturbed even when she furiously tries to attract his attention. His composure remains unshaken even in the face of her accusations of ignoring him. His lack of reaction increases her irritation, but he does not respond to her outbursts of anger. A carriage suddenly appears, forcing Marianne to pull the man aside, saving them both. Despite her confusion, She acts quickly, instinctively protecting them from a collision. A passerby, whom she suspected of stealing, suddenly saves her by pushing her away from the carriage. This gesture baffles her, and she looks at him in confusion, feeling grateful. Shocked by the man's actions, she realizes that he has saved her, but she cannot put it into words. He only points to the carriage, reminding her of the continuing danger. She is outraged by his actions, not realizing that he was trying to protect her. Her words are full of anger, although the man was only trying to avoid conflict. Suddenly, she notices that he has handed her the bag as an apology. This unexpected action leaves her confused and thoughtful. The young man with dark hair realizes how naive she is to believe the bandit's lies. He confesses his involvement, surprised by her gullibility. The girl in the red and blue cloak looks at the man thoughtfully, trying to understand if he could be right. Although doubts still torment her, her amazement increases when the companion finds something on the ground. His decisive actions raise questions, but he does not explain anything. The man picks up a gold coin and hands it to Marianne, offering it as compensation. He hopes it will resolve their differences and allow him to leave. The man leaves, leaving Marianne in confusion. She looks at the coin and tries to comprehend his actions, feeling reproach and misunderstanding. She stands there confused, unable to catch up with him. Disappointment washes over her with every step he takes, leaving a bitterness in her soul. She tries to call out to him, but the city noise drowns out her voice. He disappears into the distance, leaving her alone with an unexpected gift from fate. Sitting by the fountain, she realizes that she let him go. Her thoughts are filled with regret and confusion about how things turned out. She watches him go, thinking about the accidents that change lives. Fate has played a trick on her, leaving more questions than answers. She sits alone, lost in thoughts of a day full of surprises. The thirst for adventure collides with reality, leaving behind the hope of freedom. Princess Marianne is troubled by the ruined plans. Her gaze is full of worry, and her thoughts are filled with longing for the lost opportunities. The mischievous young man with the smirk makes her think. It seems he knew everything in advance, and this increases her mistrust of him. As Marianne gathers her thoughts, she suddenly realizes that there might be a conspiracy being woven around her. This thought adds tension and mystery to the situation, making her wary and searching for answers. Suspicions grow, turning every look and word of those around her into a potential threat. Without wasting time, Marianne hides the precious bag among the dense foliage. She decides to hide for a while to protect her secrets from those who might betray her. This move is a desperate attempt to maintain control over a situation full of uncertainty. The coin she found becomes a new cause for concern. Seeing it in the hands of one of her acquaintances, Marianne begins to suspect him of involvement in the disappearance of her things. The internal tension grows, fueled by the fear of losing the most valuable thing. In an attempt to escape her dark thoughts, Marianne dreams of visiting the restaurant in the famous greenhouse. Its reputation attracts her promising gastronomic delights and temporary oblivion from worries. This desire becomes a ray of light in the dark whirlwind of events. As she reminisces about her life at the palace, Marianne reflects on the people around her. Her games with the queen in the past seem naive to her, and the palace intrigues now force her to be on guard, further sharpening her ability to hide her true feelings. In the quiet of the night, lit only by the soft light of the lantern, Marianne is once again lost in thought. The hard work of studying, the long hours spent studying, and the fatigue seem to merge into one, making her appreciate the rare moments of peace even more. Looking at the bright sky, Marianne thinks about her strategy for the upcoming competition. The task she has to solve seems incredibly difficult, but she believes in her strength and is ready to challenge the deity Raiden himself. In the heated arena, Marianne demonstrates her mastery of weapons. Her movements, weighted by her armor, seem graceful and powerful at the same time, and each blow emphasizes her determination and fortitude worthy of admiration. Marianne, with her characteristic tenacity, pays attention to each warrior. She strives not only to teach them fighting techniques, but also to reveal their potential, inspiring students to new achievements. Each lesson becomes a step towards a common victory. Commanders select the best fighters for further training, but Marianne is sure that everyone has potential. She decides to work with everyone, despite the doubts of her colleagues, believing that persistence and the right approach can work miracles. On the training field, Marianne painstakingly corrects the mistakes of her students. She teaches them not only techniques, but also the wise distribution of forces. Some encounter difficulties, but she patiently helps everyone. Marianne also finds time for her own development. Meditation and reflection become an important part of her training, helping her maintain a balance between her physical and spiritual nature, which makes her stronger. Feeling the weight of responsibility, Marianne wonders if she has been too eager for fame, forgetting about deeper goals. This question forces her to reconsider her priorities and find the true meaning of her path. Amidst the splendor of royal luxury, Marianne receives a gift from a faithful servant. Her dignity and princess manners are admired, emphasizing her high status and innate charm that attracts attention. The day of the foundation of the state is celebrated with royal pomp. The king says important words standing on the balustrade, and each of them carries significance for the future of the country and for Marianne herself lost in thought. In the hall of the aristocracy, Ophelis recalls the warm moments of that solemn day. Looking at the vines, she feels a slight melancholy, as if nature were whispering to her of new beginnings and the eternal cycles of life. Marianne laughs, sharing her feelings about time. Her lightness contrasts with the majestic surroundings, creating a vivid image of youth amid strict traditions. Her laughter sounds like a symbol of freedom in this strict world. The host of the evening ref store warmly welcomes the guests. His friendly speeches and open smile fill the atmosphere of the holiday with sincere warmth, uniting everyone around a common feeling of joy. Ophelis holds a glass of wine and a microphone, her gaze sliding around the room, taking in the guests. She exudes confidence and elegance, and the festive atmosphere filled with laughter seems to emphasize her inner strength. The radiophone, feeling the harmony around him, says words of gratitude. His sincerity and warmth find a response from the guests, who share this feeling of joy and pride, creating a moment of unity and well-being. Radiophone speaks to Marianne with confidence and calm, saying that any doubts will sooner or later disappear. His confidence is as calming as a gentle wind. He reminds her that time is the best cure for all worries, leaving a glimmer of hope and calm in her soul. Ophelis reflects on the dual meaning of the holiday, where tradition collides with subtle power plays. There is tension beneath the surface of small talk. This is a moment where politics and culture are subtly intertwined, creating a complex and multifaceted context for what is happening. Ophelis awaits the mysterious guest with intrigue, confident that he will not miss the chance to appear at such a significant event. Her gaze is full of anticipation, hinting that his arrival could change the course of the evening, adding new intrigues and developments. Marianne and her companion discuss Ophelis's grace, admiring her regal bearing and refined charm. This woman is undoubtedly the center of attention and the epitome of sophistication, emphasizing the grandeur and tradition of the evening. The sincere greetings of Marianne and her companion create an atmosphere of warmth and hospitality. Their smiles and kind words seem to spread light throughout the room, uniting the guests and turning the official event into a real celebration of the soul. In the castle, under the arches of a spacious hall, Flora and Marianne are talking with Ophelis. Flora thanks for the compliments, radiating modest charm, and Ophelis nods reservedly, claiming that her beauty does not require additional decorations. Flora beams with joy as she talks about the pendant the queen gave her for her birthday. Her eyes sparkle with happiness, and the warmth of her words enlivens the formal atmosphere, adding a touch of personal awe and sincerity. Flora proudly shows off her new pendant, unwittingly becoming the center of attention. The guests discuss it with interest, and she sincerely thanks them for the compliments, enjoying the moment. Her joy fills the room with light. Ophelis responds to compliments with elegant sophistication, emphasizing Flora's uniqueness. Her words sound like a skillfully woven decoration, filled not only with courtesy, but also with subtle sincerity. Suddenly, the conversation is interrupted by praise for the queen's culinary talents. The guests perk up, heads turned towards the source of the voice, and the room fills with admiration and slight surprise, which enlivens the atmosphere. A buzz fills the hall as the news of Princess Marianne's arrival is announced. All eyes turn to the doors where she is expected to appear. Tension and anticipation hang in the air, making the moment especially meaningful for those gathered. The soldier on duty, seeing Marianne, is lost in a stream of emotions. His gaze is full of sincere feelings, as if he had met his destiny. Against the background of the excitement and bustle, his experiences seem especially vivid and genuine. The rustling of fabric and hushed conversations fill the room as rumors about Marianne's condition begin to circulate. Guests share their guesses, remaining ignorant of her mood or the reason for her long absence. Marianne's appearance causes murmurs and whispers. She descends the stairs, lost in her thoughts, oblivious to those around her. The tense atmosphere reinforces the sense of her detachment and mystery. As Marianne walks through the crowd, admiration and bewilderment fill the guests. Her gaze, full of hidden questions, slides over their faces, leaving the feeling that her unexpected appearance hides a secret. King Refstor embraces Marianne with relief. His face reflects joy and calm, as if her arrival lifts a long burden of anxiety. The gesture underlines the closeness and significance of their relationship. Ophilis watches Marianne's apology for being late with restraint. The queen's smile barely conceals her irritation, but her manners remain impeccable. She accepts the princess's words with grace, underlining the grandeur of the moment. The guests whisper, discussing how unusual it is that Marianne warmly addresses Ophilis as a mother. This rare gesture arouses interest and generates gossip, filling the room with excitement and curiosity. Ophilis, with a slight smile, dismisses the apology for being late, assuring that Marianne's presence is the most important thing. Her words ring true and underscore how important their connection and trust in each other is. Marianne beaming hands Flora an elegant box. She explains that her delay was due to the preparation of the gift. The gesture adds warmth to the atmosphere, making the moment even more touching. Flora looks at Marianne with surprise and gratitude, not expecting such a gesture. The princess apologizes for the delay in congratulating her, warmly expressing her affection. This moment of surprise makes the gift even more meaningful, and Marianne's smile adds sincerity. Flora's joy turns to delight when she opens the box and sees a necklace with a large gemstone. Its shine like magic blinds her, making the gift a real miracle. The amazement on her face reflects genuine happiness from the unexpected surprise. The nobles exchange shocked glances, realizing the value of the gift. The necklace is comparable to a fortune that could only belong to the royal family. Their doubts and envy increase because such a luxurious gift raises many questions. The whispers intensify as the nobles discuss how a simple servant could have obtained such an expensive piece of jewelry. Mistrust and speculation fill the room as everyone tries to understand the hidden meaning behind Marianne's generous gesture. Discussions about the gift escalate into a real storm of rumors. Some assume hidden motives, others look for a connection between Flora and the princess. This situation turns the maid into the center of everyone's attention, and her fate seems mysterious. Flora, a bright girl with red hair and green eyes, does not hide her surprise and happiness. Her embarrassment is mixed with joy because the gift seems incredible to her. She glows with emotion, feeling like she is in a fairy tale. With a kind smile, Marianne reassures Flora that the necklace is only a modest gift. She seems to soften the significance of the jewelry by calling it a trinket, but her warmth and attention tell a different story, emphasizing the sincerity of the gesture. When Marianne offers to help her try on the necklace, Flora feels timid. Her hesitation adds intrigue to the moment, showing how much the princess's attention means to her. Their interaction is filled with subtle emotional tension. Flora delicately shares her feelings, expressing how important this gift is to her. Her excitement is noticeable, and she almost does not believe what is happening. This moment becomes a reflection of something more than just a gift for her. Calmly but confidently, Marianne asks Ophelius to let her try on the necklace. Her desire to see how the piece looks on Flora sounds natural, but there is a hint of persistence and slight intrigue hidden in it. Ophelius, shown only from behind, seems to be deep in conversation with one of the guests. Her detachment adds to the mystery, and her figure is a symbol of hidden emotions and decisions that she is in no hurry to reveal to others. Ophelius's small burst of irritation when she throws accusations at Flora creates tension. Their relationship seems strained, and the atmosphere around them becomes increasingly electric, drawing the guests' gazes into it. Ophelius, hiding his disappointment behind a smile, insists that Flora try on the gift. Her words sound like a slight coercion, and they reveal a hidden struggle of feelings that she carefully tries to hide behind politeness. With difficulty concealing her regret, Marianne notices Ophelius's attitude toward the gift change. She takes the necklace out of the box, a gesture that underlines how difficult the situation has become. The tension rises. Flora, holding the box in her hands, is confused and at a loss. Marian puts her hand on her shoulder, supporting and comforting. The gesture is warm, and it seems to say that she is there ready to help her cope with her emotions and the situation. Flora seems lost in this world of luxury as she softly touches the fabric of her dress. Her wide smile and sparkling eyes reflect the joy that overwhelms her. It is as if she sees a dream come true where lace and fabrics become her fairy tale. The two friends watch Flora with bated breath. Their admiration is sincere, and their delight is genuine. Their applause is filled with joy for her, and it seems that they are even more excited than the hero of the occasion herself. Two gentlemen stand to the side, sarcastically, discussing what is happening. Their cold looks and caustic comments reveal discontent, and their postures demonstrate distrust of what is happening, as if they think they know better. One of the nobles, leaning back with a glass of wine, looks at everything with a slight smile. His pose expresses self-confidence and slight approval, as if he is looking at the presented event as a pre-planned performance. Flora stands a little further away, her cheeks flushed with excitement. Her eyes sparkle, and her smile reflects pure joy. She feels special at this moment, as if she has finally been noticed and appreciated, giving her a feeling of warmth and love. Marian looks at Ophelius, waiting for her reaction to Flora's transformation. She stands with her arms folded, her gaze filled with subtle interest, as if she were trying to peer into her stepmother's soul to understand her true thoughts. Ophelius, barely perceptibly shaking his fan, looks unperturbed, but her eyes betrayed a slight approval. It was a subtle game, to appear cold, but not to hide the inner admiration of what was happening. Flora, catching the glance of her reflection, cannot hide her smile. For her, everything around her froze. This moment of happiness became a starting point where reality merged with dreams, giving a feeling of absolute satisfaction. Marianne watches Flora's reaction and smiles. A warm realization spreads in her heart. Simple attention can make a person happy. Her face reflects the inner joy that she gave this moment. Marianne slowly steps away, thinking. Her thoughts wander to how easy it is to bring joy to others. These thoughts fill her soul with a sense of calm and meaning. Marianne, dressed in a blue dress, is beaming with joy. Her gratitude sounds confident. She promises to carefully keep the gift, making it a part of her life. In this moment, her whole being is filled with sincerity. The red-haired woman, dressed in pastel colors, pondered how to express her gratitude for Marianne's gesture. Her gaze radiated admiration and a hidden determination to find a way to repay the generosity. The interlocutor thanks Marianne, but Marianne convinces her that gifts given from the heart do not require retribution. Her voice is full of sincerity, and this relieves the tension, creating a cozy atmosphere. With warmth in her voice, Marianne explains that any sincere gratitude is valuable. Her openness and ability to give joy express the nobility of her soul, making her behavior natural and inspiring. The woman with the microphone bursts onto the stage, her emotions flaring, but Marianne remains calm. Her smile remains unwavering, as if she were managing an invisible flow of harmony against chaos. In the corner of the room, a man in uniform and a woman in glasses are discussing the behavior of the indignant lady. Their whispers indicate that what is happening is upsetting the general mood, but their interest fuels the intrigue. A man with a glass of wine suggests taking a philosophical approach to the situation, hinting that sometimes it is better to observe events from the outside. His gaze betrays a slight detachment and interest. The woman in blue, once closed off, now sparkles with smiles. Her inner transformation is visible to everyone. This moment reflects her determination to open up to the world and find ease in her relationships with it. The lady in glasses watches Marianne intently, trying to understand what has become the catalyst for change. Her gaze betrays genuine interest in the unexpected metamorphosis in the heroine's behavior. Marianne, stepping away from the microphone, smiles, realizing that her efforts and changes in character are bringing results. This is the beginning of her confident movement toward success, which is already felt by everyone around her. In a luxuriously decorated room, Marianne hides her emotions behind her fan as she answers Duke Ratifon's question. His carefree gaze and charm make their dialogue an elegant game. The Duke, beaming with curiosity, asks Marianne questions about her life. His genuine interest underscores his desire to understand her better, which makes their conversation light and engaging. Marianne, smiling easily, deftly, turns the conversation to Eric, demonstrating her manners and tact. She plays her role with grace, holding the attention of her interlocutors. Eric presents himself with restraint, but his keen gaze and seriousness make him a formidable figure. He commands respect without resorting to big words or ostentatious confidence. With a gentle smile, Eric expresses his joy at meeting Marianne. His noble manners and sincere attitude emphasize that he is a man of honor, arousing sympathy. Eric is surprised to see that his mother knows Duke Radafon. His face lights up with bewilderment, mixed with slight shock, as if the discovery of this fact turns his familiar world upside down. It raises questions in him that have no answers, yet increasing the tension of the moment. Marianne, hiding her embarrassment, covers her face with a fan, avoiding direct eye contact. Her smile is full of riddles, and her attempt to avoid an answer only increases the intrigue. She seems both graceful and vulnerable, which only emphasizes her natural charm. Eric steps forward, introducing himself with formal dignity. His words ring with confidence, emphasizing his status and importance. It's as if he's trying to establish his role in the proceedings, leaving the sense that this moment is of special significance to him. Eric's eyes are ablaze with determination. This is his third victory in a row, and he is elated by his success as he prepares for new challenges. His inner fire makes him invulnerable, and he can already see the future triumphs that lie ahead. Standing in the center of the arena, Eric exudes the strength of a young warrior. His figure, confident and unwavering, attracts attention. 3 years of victories have tempered his character, and he is preparing to prove that his success is only the beginning of a great journey. Marianne lowers her fan, slightly lost in thought. Her gaze is full of warmth and excitement as she recalls her last meeting with Eric. That moment left a deep mark on her heart, and now she feels as if she is experiencing his nobility all over again. Duke Radafon, delighted by the memories, laughs as he recalls the tournament. Eric had shown himself to be a true hero, and the Duke cannot help but note how his courage had won everyone's respect. These reflections make his gaze thoughtful and admiring. Marianne is convinced that her attention could not have gone unnoticed by Eric. Their previous meeting was so significant that he probably keeps it in his memory. Her confidence causes slight excitement and hope for their further communication. Eric reflects on his encounter with the princess. His face is a mixture of concentration and slight confusion, as if the mystery is more disturbing to him than he cares to admit. Interacting with her has been an unexpected challenge. The Duke and Marianne exchange glances with a hint of hidden humor. There is a sense of sincerity between them, but Eric standing apart seems out of place in this tandem. His detachment underlines the contrast with their friendly atmosphere. Marianne, lost in her thoughts, suddenly decides to leave. Her emotions are mixed: bewilderment, slight sadness, and confusion. Doubts overwhelm her, but she strives to maintain her dignity, leaving behind an aura of mystery. Eric watches Marianne with a slightly puzzled look in his eyes. Her silence seems like a mystery to him, and the unresolved issues fill the moment with tension. The feeling of unresolvedness between them becomes more and more obvious. Marianne stands to the side, her eyes full of surprise and slight sadness. Eric seems not to notice her, which causes her internal discomfort. Mixed feelings fill her, forcing her to think about his behavior again and again. The Duke introduces Marianne to his friends, adding a lightness to the atmosphere. Marianne studies their faces carefully, noticing every detail. She maintains grace and restraint, remaining the center of attention due to her sophistication. Indignantly, Marianne rushes after Eric, leaving the others to watch her determination. This impulse highlights her temperament, which is a mixture of passion and confidence. Her actions make everyone around her freeze in surprise. In an arched hall, 2 men exchange formal greetings. Yahello, with black hair and a serious expression, introduces himself first. His companion, the smiling, blue-eyed Teasman, responds with charm, creating a contrast between them. Princess Marianne listens to their greetings. Her half-open fan adds mystery, and her attentive gaze emphasizes her grace. Yahello and Teasman compliment her, which enhances the atmosphere of politeness and mutual respect. The man in the red jacket gallantly offers his hand to the princess. Marianne nods in gratitude, but her calm and benevolence underscore her high status. The moment is filled with symbolism and mutual respect. The man in the uniform with gold details watches Marion from afar. His concentration and detachment create a sense of hidden emotions. It is as if he is analyzing her every move, not wanting to interfere with small talk. Eric is distracted from his thoughts by the sound of Saren's voice. Saren makes a light-hearted joke, noting Eric's bored expression at social events. The joke breaks the tension, adding a touch of lightness to the overall tone of their conversation. Eric frowns when Saren asks him playfully about his meeting with Princess Marion. His gaze turns dark, as if he is hiding something important. Saren tries to understand what is hidden behind this reserve, but Eric remains silent, lost in his thoughts. Saren, with a touch of irony, remarks that the princess may be an important figure in their lives. His words are full of mystery, and despite the cheerful tone, they sound serious. The glitter of the hall around only intensifies the contrast between the glitter of the setting and the hidden emotions of the characters. Eric suddenly realizes something important, as if he has found the missing answer. His face reflects a storm of emotions mixed with surprise. Saren watches this change carefully, trying to figure out what exactly changed Eric's thoughts so abruptly. There is tension between Eric and Saren. Eric seems to have stumbled upon something deeply personal and meaningful. Saren, full of curiosity, cautiously tries to draw more out of him, but Eric stubbornly closes himself off, as if hiding his experiences from everyone. Eric covers his face with his hand, as if trying to hide from the outside world. Saren, full of anticipation, waits patiently to hear his confession. The atmosphere is tense, and every gesture speaks of the importance of the moment that is about to change their dialogue. Eric, dressed in a luxurious outfit, looks thoughtful, his black hair slightly tousled. His thoughts return to the forgotten gold coin that holds something valuable. Its memory makes him focus on the past, shutting out the present. Serene and Eric walk through a square surrounded by stately buildings. A festive atmosphere hangs in the air, but the passers-by seem faceless shadows. Against the backdrop of the vibrant city, their inner experiences create a contrast between the noise outside and the silence inside. Serene suggests Eric have a fun evening, offering ideas with ease and excitement. But Eric is distant and in no hurry to rejoice. His face reflects thoughts far from easy and festive, as if his mind is occupied with more important matters. Serene tries to lighten the mood, inviting Eric to forget his worries and indulge in some fun. His sincere laughter and playful look find no response in his sullen friend. Eric only smiles slightly, but this smile seems a shadow of his former joy. Serene enthusiastically invites Marion to watch the street performance, marveling at the beauty of the moment. Eric follows them, but his gaze is absent, his interest fading in the midst of the merriment. He is like a shadow out of touch with this vibrant world. Marion demonstrates her strength and agility, fighting in an improvised arena. Her movements arouse admiration among the spectators. She easily takes the initiative, capturing the gaze of passers-by. And even the most persistent cannot hide their surprise at her skills. In combat, Marion shows amazing endurance. She fights not only against her opponent, but also against the circumstances. Each of her attacks is filled with determination. Her courage raises the spirit of the crowd, making everyone root for her with renewed vigor. Serene watches Marianne's resilience with amazement and pride. Her actions inspire admiration, and he begins to look at her in a new way. Eric, on the other hand, watches calmly, as if comprehending something more than what is visible to those around him. Marianne, despite her fragility, amazes with her resilience. Serene, inspired by her courage, cannot hide his admiration. Eric, detached, studies what is happening without unnecessary emotion, as if he sees something hidden in it. Every step Marianne takes reflects her inner strength. She easily withstands the onslaught of her opponent, causing the crowd to admire her. Her unbreakable spirit captivates the audience, showing that even grace can be combined with incredible power. Saren notices a girl with black hair and wonders if she looks familiar to him. He looks at her features, but cannot remember where he knows this face from. Eric, standing next to him, remains impassive, not sharing Saren's doubts. Joy fills the air as Marianne receives applause after her victory. Her smile lights up the room, inspiring admiration. The crowd cheers, celebrating a triumph, in which power and grace merge into a single moment of triumph. Saren begins to wonder if this girl glowing after her victory is the princess from the legends. Her confidence and skills make him wonder who she might really be. The mystery makes him want to know more. Marian thanks the crowd, waving her hat. Her joy is infectious, and her bright image leaves a lasting impression. Everyone around her seems to come alive, succumbing to her sincerity and happiness reflected on the faces of passers-by. The mood changes dramatically when Marianne accidentally loses control and breaks the trophy. It turns from a joyful moment into a dramatic scene. Serene and Eric, watching silently, look confused, as if they are expecting the unexpected episode to continue. Marianne, who had been laughing a moment ago, suddenly wants to leave, which surprises Serene and Eric. Their confusion increases because such a change in her behavior seems inexplicable and throws them off track, breaking the atmosphere that had just been established. Tensions rise as Marianne pushes Siren to hide her secret. Her abruptness stuns him, and her desire for secrecy arouses suspicion. The situation becomes dangerous and exciting at the same time. Siren is shocked when his intuition is confirmed. Marianne is a princess. The revelation stuns him, leaving him in disarray. The secret hidden for so long suddenly becomes clear, deepening the drama of the moment. Serene chides Marianne for being harsh, but she doesn't give in, escalating the tension. Their argument escalates into a confrontation where pride and hidden feelings collide, forcing both to defend their positions. Marianne smiles enigmatically, hinting at her royal origins. Her charm is enhanced by her mystery, creating an atmosphere filled with magic. Serene tries to figure out how to relate to the new reality. Standing in the rain, Serene covers his mouth, hiding his surprise. His silence speaks louder than words, expressing a mixture of surprise, confusion, and regret for what he said. The moment is deeply moving. Marianne reproaches Siren for his risky walks and dubious meetings, demonstrating her sincere concern. Her words are full of concern for his reputation, showing how much she cares about his fate. Eric mockingly notes Marianne's devotion to their father. His sarcasm enlivens the tense conversation, adding an ironic tone and highlighting the complexity of the situation where everyone is trying to find their place. Marianne dreams of freedom, but knows that her escape will be noticed. Her internal conflict between duty and desires reveals itself in a battle of views, leaving her captive to her own thoughts. Siren opens up about how tired he is of his responsibilities and how he dreams of freedom. His words resonate, creating a touching connection between him and Marianne, where their desires become common. Marianne's face lights up with joy when she suggests having fun. This unexpected moment brings lightness to their tense situation, filling it with the energy of spontaneity and happiness. Serene and Eric look at Marianne in surprise, taken aback by her sudden joy. Their bewilderment creates a comic effect, softening the seriousness of their conversations and adding a touch of lightness. Siren ponders the necessity of silence, recognizing the importance of unspoken words. His reflections underscore the depth of the moment, making the scene more serious and dramatic. Marianne abruptly interrupts the conversation, demanding to return to the palace. Her tone restores seriousness, reminding everyone of the inevitability of royal duties and the importance of discipline. Serene agrees with Marianne, recognizing the importance of their mission. He follows her internally, reconciled with the inevitability of duty, although his heart continues to reach for freedom. Eric listens to Siren with displeasure, as he jokingly shows a card with the word "hot" written on it. His suggestion to use Marianne as bait raises eyebrows, adding an unexpected twist. Siren boldly claims that his skills are underestimated. His plan to involve Marianne in an adventure reveals his cunning and determination, adding tension to their complicated relationship. Siren happily embraces Eric, declaring that his goal is a day away from the palace. He invites his friend to join in his plan, adding a touch of fun to serious plans, filling them with the energy of adventure. Serene enthusiastically convinces Eric that the three of them can accomplish what they have planned. His determination surprises Eric, who looks worried, but is already beginning to give in to his friend's enthusiasm. Siren argues that Marianne deserves at least one day of freedom. His ardor underlines his concern for her, while Eric listens with concern, aware of the risk their plan carries. Marianne agrees to the escape, turning it into an adventure. Her playful mood contrasts with Eric's reserve, who seems distant. This increases the tension, adding mystery to their relationship and the plan. Siren enthusiastically assures Marianne of his support, demonstrating his devotion. His energy imbues the moment with a sense of determination, emphasizing his desire to take control of the situation despite all obstacles. Siren's idea to circumvent punishment by using Marian's presence delights him. However, Eric's ironic look indicates his doubts, creating a dynamic tension between optimism and caution. Eric looks exhausted and listless, as if he is being suffocated by the weight of his circumstances. His closed-eye posture and the faint sounds of discontent convey his desire to escape from everything that is happening around him. Marianne and Serene watch the acrobat in awe. His skillful trick leaves them genuinely amazed, especially when the flames fly over the heads of the spectators. This moment makes them forget about reality, filling them with admiration. A magician in a blue suit captivates the crowd by manipulating flames. His trick becomes the embodiment of magic, enveloping the audience in an atmosphere of ancient charm. Marian's gaze is full of surprise and genuine delight. Marian wonders about the nature of magic tricks, attracting the attention of those around her. Her eyes express curiosity and bewilderment, and her amazement at what she sees makes the moment touching, reminding us of her naivety. Siren explains that it is just a trick and a skill. His calm tone and confident face contrast with the excitement of those around him, emphasizing his knowledge of life beyond illusions and stage glitz. The contrast between spectacle and reality is heightened when Siren points out to Marianne the simple joy of cotton candy. The moment shows how simple pleasures can bring genuine happiness. Serene suggests staying put, going into the unknown. His confidence and mystery create intrigue, awakening Marian's spirit of adventure. She stays waiting for his return, shrouded in anticipation. Siren smiles and declares that everything is under control. The atmosphere of the fair, with its aromas and colors, enhances the effect of his words, creating an illusion of carelessness under which plans and uncertainty are hidden. Eric watches Siren with doubt, as if weighing his every move. His piercing gaze expresses a mixture of distrust and caution, emphasizing his role as the realist in their adventure. In the crowd, an unnoticed man creeps up from behind, breaking the carefree atmosphere. His actions are shrouded in mystery, creating a premonition of trouble that heightens the tension and makes everyone wary. The unexpected attack knocks Eric off his feet. Chaos and sparks fill the moment, forcing him to instantly gather himself. His reaction shows a mixture of fighting spirit and readiness to deal with any threat. Eric recovers quickly, his gaze focused, his movements precise. The tension in the air increases, and those around him freeze in anticipation of the outcome. His determination reminds us that he is ready for battle. Marian looks up anxiously, her face illuminated, not only by light, but also by inner conflict. Her thoughtfulness and shadow of mystery warn of an impending danger that could change everything. Eric, with his sword, represents strength and determination. His focused eyes and tense muscles indicate a readiness for action. He is silent, but his steadfastness inspires respect, heightening the drama of the moment. The tension suddenly gives way to comedy. Eric, having pinned the stranger to the wall, demands an answer, but instead of threats, he receives skewers. This moment, full of irony, dilutes the drama and makes you smile. Siren holds the skewers nonchalantly, his friendly smile, as if to say that everything is under control. He shares with those around him, not noticing their bewilderment, adding lightness and humor to the scene. Marian is confused, trying to make sense of what has happened. Her gaze, full of questions, speaks of an internal search for answers. She remains alone in her thoughts, despite the bustle around her. Life throws Marian an unexpected surprise. A skewer balances on her head, causing her a mixture of embarrassment and self-irony. The absurdity of the moment is amplified by the surrounding laughter, making the scene funny and memorable. Serene, enthusiastically, displays a giant cotton candy, turning it into a symbol of simple joys. His joy is infectious, and he seems to fill everything around him with warmth, balancing the chaos of the fair with his optimism. Marianne holds the skewers with a serious expression, while her friends laugh. She becomes the center of calm in the midst of the merriment, showing that even in the most ridiculous situations, it is possible to maintain dignity. The walk continues. Marian leads the group with a disgruntled expression, while Siren insists on enjoying the moment with her cotton candy. The contrast of their moods adds a funny dynamic, keeping the attention. Serene is enthusiastic about her adventures, while Marianne, having accepted the skewers situation, remains slightly displeased. However, her quiet acceptance of the absurdity of the moment only emphasizes her grace. Marian examines the popcorn expecting sweets, but finds none. This leaves her confused, and Serene teases her, trying to lighten the mood. Eric stands to the side, barely holding back his laughter. Marianne seems disappointed with how their time is passing. However, Saren notices charming traits in her that he had not noticed before. His admiration gradually softens her mood, bringing sincerity to the moment. An embarrassed Marianne muses on the oddity of the popcorn as Saren continues to playfully tease her. His good-natured banter creates a light-hearted atmosphere, but also irritates her a little with its persistence. Eric's laughter interrupts their conversation. He can no longer contain himself, causing Marian and Saren to look at him in amazement. Their bewilderment underlines the unexpectedness of what is happening and the comical nature of the situation. Feeling hurt by Saren's jokes, Marianne wants to be alone. His confused look shows that he doesn't understand her reaction. This moment adds emotional depth to their relationship. Saren tries to find out why Marian calls him Lady Grey. Her surprise at his question makes the scene funny, and his eagerness to find out adds intrigue to their conversation. Marian explains that she is simply calling him by his name. Satisfied, Serene smiles, his face alight with joy. This simple moment brings them closer, bringing the lightness back into their dialogue. Saren enjoys the moment and laughs heartily. His genuine joy becomes infectious, making those around him forget their doubts and involuntarily admire his ease. Eric and Marian look at Serene, amazed by his ease. His jokes and laughter make them wonder how he remains so carefree, even in the most difficult situations. Saren loudly proclaims his noble birth, which makes Marian slightly surprised. Her eyes are full of doubt, and she tries to comprehend his words, not knowing whether to believe him or not. Marian continues to doubt the truth of Saren's words about nobility. Her bewilderment is reinforced by his confident speech, which creates a mysterious atmosphere between them. Saren finds himself at the center of the accusations. His face expresses confusion and an attempt to justify himself. This moment changes the dynamic, adding seriousness and tension to the events. In desperation, Saren strives to prove his innocence. His sincere gestures and facial expressions emphasize the depth of his emotions. Each of his words sounds like a call for understanding, causing empathy. Saren's eyes fill with tears as he tries to convince those around him of his integrity. His manner of speaking conveys desperation, but also hope that the truth will be heard. Marian looks at Saren thoughtfully, remembering how he suddenly appeared in her garden. The situation seems strange to her, and she considers that this event may not be a coincidence. Meanwhile, Eric, a man with a serious and stern look, expresses his disappointment in Saren, who seems to seek refuge from his reproaches, and demands an explanation for the missed training. Saren, feeling the increasing pressure from Eric, tries to deflect responsibility by insisting that his intentions were pure, while Marian still has doubts about the situation. Marian, still full of suspicion, decides that she will check how Saren spent his time, her eyes determined to find out the truth. Serene tries to redirect the current conversation in a more pleasant direction by offering to discuss banalities such as the quality of the food at the local bar, in an attempt to create a relaxed atmosphere and reduce the tension between the interlocutors. At a colorful celebration in the city center, Marian and Saren are completely absorbed in the joy, whirling in a dance to the fiery sounds of a lute. Around them, other couples dance animatedly, but for Marian and Saren, the whole world seems to have shrunk to the space of their mutual attention, and the laughter sparkling in their eyes. Emotions overwhelm Marian and Saren, their joyful laughter mixing with the melodies of the festival as they give in to the rhythm and let their movements dissolve into the music. The streets around them seem to light up with their joy, and it seems as if the whole world responds to their happiness. Away from the main festivities, Eric has chosen the role of a quiet observer. The bench has sheltered him from the bustle, but his eyes follow every movement of the dancers, and the corners of his lips occasionally curl into a smile, reflecting his secret pleasure at what he sees. Under the velvet cover of the night, Marian and Serene exchange words of gratitude for the wonderful time they have spent together. The moon illuminates their faces, and in this moment, when the world around them seems quiet and calm, they find mutual understanding and joy in the moments they have shared. Marianne's playfulness knows no bounds as she describes their recent adventures as a conspiracy. Her gaze is mischievous and full of mischief, and Serene, catching her mood, acts as if they really have discovered a new, exciting world without rules. Siren responds to Marian's joke with equal enthusiasm, presenting himself as ready for daring exploits, which immediately captures Eric's attention. He witnesses their casual conversation, which awakens in him a mixture of curiosity and confusion. The silence of the night gives Marian a chance to step back and reflect on the events of the evening. She becomes lost in her thoughts, admitting that even unforeseen events could not prevent her from enjoying life and enjoying every moment. After some time of reflection, Marianne finds Eric alone and invites him to join them with a smile. She wants to share her joy and lightness with him to show him that sometimes it is worth leaving worries behind and just allowing yourself to be happy. The evening ends on a surprising note with Marian and Serene joking happily and Eric slightly confused watching their antics. He is left alone with himself, perhaps reflecting on the fact that sometimes even the most unpredictable events can bring joy and new experiences. In the moonlit haze of the night forest, Marian runs, her heart pounding in unison with the distant footsteps. Her mind is on one thought: to get back to the castle before she is caught, and every step brings her closer to safety. Looking over her shoulder, Marian notices the source of the mysterious sounds, but cannot figure out what they mean. Fear mixes with growing curiosity as the unexpected turn of events leaves her momentarily frozen in bewilderment. Hiding in the undergrowth, Marian keeps a watchful eye on the guards, their hands clutching their weapons, their conversations full of understatement. She remains invisible to them, but the sense of danger remains like a shadow pursuing her among the foliage. Marian's heart skips a beat as a sudden noise breaks the silence. The air is tense, and she realizes that the way back to the castle lies through a circle of guards, like fate forcing her to choose. Suddenly, the guard turns his attention to Mina, his brows furrowed. His words, full of power and anger, hit her like a cold wind as he demands immediate execution of his order. The guard, agitated and furious, condemns Mina for the act that has left marks on his face. His indignation is like a storm, and Mina feels the growing pressure of his accusations. Meanwhile, the second guard joins in the accusations, claiming that Mina was insolent towards his brother. His words are full of sarcasm, and he doubts that such behavior is appropriate for a maid. Mina tries to justify herself, denying Marianne's guilt and raising questions about the justice of the accusations. Her confidence is mixed with fears because the guard's accusations seem far-fetched, and the princess is not involved in this matter at all. The guard responds sharply, implying that such actions could only come from a dishonest person. His words sting, making Mina feel cornered. Under the weight of his accusations, she becomes increasingly unnerved. Mina thinks anxiously about the consequences of what happened, finding no peace. She fears that her actions, even innocent ones, could harm Marian's reputation, and this worry does not give her peace. Mina stands before Marian, her eyes wide, her anxiety growing. She seems to sense a storm about to break, and the sense of foreboding grips her, preventing her from moving or speaking. Marianne looks at Mina with cold determination, her proud posture and gaze making it clear that the lesson will be harsh and memorable. It is an expression of power that cannot be ignored. The sudden attack shocks Mina. Flying objects and Marianne's loud screams create chaos, where every second seems like an eternity. The noise increases the sense of panic and danger. Marianne concentrates, gathering magical energy around herself. Her determination creates a protective field, shielding them from their enemies. This moment demonstrates her strength and willingness to protect even in the most unstable situation. After a successful defense, Marianne finally relaxes. The ghosts of threat disappear, and her confidence is transmitted to those around her. In her gaze, one can read satisfaction with her ability to cope with any challenge. Mina is stunned as she watches the sword, breaking all laws of logic, come to life and fly. This surreal moment leaves her in fear and utter confusion, making her doubt reality. Marian, surprised by Mina's appearance in such an unusual place, froze in a questioning look. Her bewilderment betrays her desire to understand what exactly the maid is doing so far from her usual duties. Mina is confused and distraught, her panic visible in every movement. She tries to explain herself, but the words do not form. Her facial expression reflects helplessness and an internal struggle for clarity. Marianne takes Mina's hand firmly, gesturing that they must leave. Her behavior clearly indicates that the place is not safe, and further delay could lead to disaster. Sympathetic to the frightened Mina, Marianne tries to calm her down. Her gaze and soft tone show support. This moment reveals her nobility and ability to care for others despite the circumstances. The blue-haired boy gestures for silence, his anxious gaze adding to the tension. It seems he is trying to hide something important that may concern Princess Marianne. His behavior is full of mysteries. Two men with identical features lead a woman in a dark dress. One of them is clearly filled with determination, which adds drama to the scene. The woman follows obediently, increasing the sense of mystery and tension. Marianne stands in a rage, her anger burning. She demands respect and clarity, her regal bearing underscoring her high position. Her emotions are clear and strong, causing admiration and awe. Mina, sincerely repentant, asks for forgiveness. Her tears speak of deep regret. She is afraid that she has become the cause of unnecessary worries, and her depressed state expresses the full weight of the moment. Overhearing the soldiers talking about Marianne, Mina froze in surprise. Her concern grows, and she feels the need to understand how much this is related to the princess. Her sensitivity to such details betrays her character. Mina ponders Marianne's words, analyzing her ability to win people over. The skepticism on her face shows that she sees more than others and is not inclined to accept the obvious without questioning. Armed with determination, Mina prepares for action. Her eyes glow with protest, her movements are full of energy. This moment shows her strength and readiness to defend her principles at any cost. The maid, clutching her weapon, rushes at the soldier with a cry. Her actions are fast, and her blows are precise. At this moment, she does not look helpless, but full of strength, courage, and determination to defend herself, leaving the enemy confused. Mina realizes with horror that her outburst of anger happened before the princess's eyes. Her body is hunched over, tears are streaming down her cheeks. Her posture and facial expression speak of deep remorse and shame for her thoughtless actions. Marianne stands frozen in amazement as she watches what has happened. Her gaze betrays confusion, and the night sky with the moon adds drama to the scene, emphasizing the importance of the moment and the strength of human emotion. Overcome with grief, Mina cannot hold back her tears. Her despair is evident in every movement. She covers her face with her hands, as if trying to hide from those around her. Her emotions are strong, and the scene touches all the witnesses. Marianne watches Mina's emotional outburst with genuine amazement. Her gaze betrays a reflection on human nature and the complexity of emotions that manifest themselves in such unexpected forms. Under the moonlight, Marianne shares deep thoughts about power and its influence. Her voice sounds thoughtful, as if she is searching for answers to the questions that occupy her mind, emphasizing the philosophical nature of the princess. With a slight smile, Marianne tells Mina that each person has their own special power. Her words sound like a gentle hint that Mina has hidden potential that should be discovered and used. Marianne emphasizes that Mina has inner strength. Her words sound inspiring, making it clear that even in the most difficult situations, it is important to remember your hidden abilities and find the strength to act. Mina asks the princess for help. Her eyes are full of despair, but at the same time, they shine with loyalty and readiness to fight for Marianne. This moment emphasizes the strength of their connection and the sincerity of their relationship. With a gentle smile, Marianne reminds that sometimes rules can be broken for the sake of happiness. Her warm words are comforting, encouraging Mina, and emphasizing the importance of simple joys in life. Marianne, like the sun, dispels Mina's fears. She invites her to the palace, promising warmth and support. These words are like a ray of light in the darkness, awakening hope and inspiration for a better life. Under the banner of her clan, Marianne is the picture of confidence. Her knights stand by, ready to carry out any order, and her stoic posture and steady gaze make her a symbol of power and strength. The commander in a white uniform stands confidently before the soldiers. His posture inspires respect, and the determination in his eyes shows his readiness to lead people to victory, strengthening their spirit with his example. With a grin, the warlord ironically mentions Mina's cunning in defeating the guard. This sarcastic moment adds a touch of humor to the scene and highlights her unexpected dexterity. A young soldier with scars answers his commander's questions. His anxious gaze and the tension in his posture betray his anxiety. He clearly feels insecure under his superior's gaze. Marian is unperturbed as she listens to the knight's praises of his army. Her face remains calm, without a trace of doubt in the strength of her own defenders. This moment emphasizes her confidence and dignity. Two knights clenching their fists, ready to defend their honor. Their looks are full of determination, and their posture expresses strength and readiness for action. They do not accept neglect and are ready to prove their power. The maid stands next to Marian, her face betraying fear and anxiety. She is trying to comprehend the scale of events, and her tense posture reflects an internal struggle with anxiety about the future. Marianne remains calm as she stands next to the knight. Her confidence inspires those around her. She appears to be a reliable support, ready to protect her people and lead them to victory despite the dangers. As she watches the knights leave on their mission, Marianne exudes confidence. Her gaze is firm, and her posture suggests readiness for any challenge. She has no doubts about her abilities or team decisions. Eyes turn to the two men, clearly offended. One asks how anyone can laugh at their situation. The tension eases when Marian, with a serene smile, offers a bet, excitedly predicting the outcome of the upcoming competition, arousing curiosity. Marianne ups the ante by challenging her opponent to a tournament bet. Her eyes sparkle with confidence, and her smile underlines her readiness for the fight ahead. The atmosphere is filled with tense anticipation and excitement at her bold move. The man, puzzled by the challenge, asks about the tournament as if he doubts its significance. However, Marian stands before him with a firm gaze and confidence, as if she is ready to disprove all his doubts with one word. In response to his bewilderment, Marianne resolutely confirms that this is the tournament in question. Her confidence acts as a challenge, heightening the tension, as if she were throwing down a gauntlet at her opponent's feet. Marianne's opponent, covered in scars and bandages, boldly asks her to think carefully before arguing. His words betray the awakening competitive spirit, fueling the excitement and anticipation of the upcoming event. A warrior with a sword surrounded by his comrades enters the stage. His determined gaze and power radiate the confidence and strength of the team, heightening the drama of the moment and leaving the audience breathless. The commander prepares for battle, his gaze fixed on his weapon, a symbol of determination and ambition. Every gesture he makes demonstrates his intention to prove the superiority of his team in the coming battle. Marianne thinks about her participation. Is it worth fighting for when her opponent lost last year? She ponders the meaning of the tournament, trying to figure out what exactly she expects from this victory. The situation escalates as the commander yells at his opponent in anger. The latter appears frightened and depressed, watching the conflict unfold with confusion, as if losing confidence. The commander, disappointed with the enemy's behavior, does not hide his emotions. It seems he is ready to do anything if the situation escalates, which makes the audience freeze in anticipation of the outcome. Marianne looks into the distance, full of confidence and success. There is an unwavering determination in her gaze, as if she already knows that their victory is inevitable and is ready to go to the end to achieve their goal. The three men are stunned by the unexpected turn of events. One of them, with his mouth open, cannot hide his amazement. Their reaction underlines the improbability of what is happening, increasing the interest in the development of events. While two friends are joking, one of them notices the third's confusion. The third, clearly embarrassed, tries to figure out the situation, which causes smiles and eases the tension a little. Marianne, looking at her imperturbable companion, asks him about his doubts. She emphasizes his lack of faith in victory, while he silently looks at her full of doubts. With a smile on her face, Marianne exudes confidence. Her dedication to her cause is evident in every movement, and her eyes shine with determination, as if she is ready to overcome any challenge. Friends greet Marianne joyfully, warming her with their warmth and support. Their sincere admiration and friendly care fill her heart with confidence and the feeling that she is not alone. With a sly smile, Marianne reflects on loyalty, wondering if one can trust those who have always been there. Her thoughts are set off by an air of light irony. Fireworks explode over the crowd, lighting up the night. The start of the festival fills the air with joy, creating a sense of magic and anticipation. Everyone around seems to freeze, immersed in the festive atmosphere. Marianne is left alone in the midst of the bustle. Her gaze is directed into the distance, her thoughts wander far from the noisy celebration. An internal conflict contrasts her calm with the general jubilation. Sadness darkens Marian's face as she watches the joy of the people. Her heart is filled with a longing for something important that is left behind, this joy filling the moment with a slight sadness. Marian looks at the window seat in surprise, wondering who put her there. The atmosphere around her is filled with laughter and lively conversations of guests, which adds to the lightness and intrigue. Next to Marian sits an elegant lady and a nervous girl, clearly uneasy about her presence. Her attention is focused on the second, as if trying to figure out what is hidden behind the anxious expression on her face. The girl greets Marianne cheerfully, calling her sister, and offers to help. Her friendliness and openness create a warm, relaxed atmosphere. Smiling, Marianne politely declines and remarks that she is fine as is. Her mood improves, and she appears more relaxed, as if she has absorbed the general mood of those around her. A young man appears, his presence causing Marianne to smile slightly. Their exchange of greetings underlines the warmth of their interaction, enlivening the general mood. Two men in uniform appear, suddenly addressing Marianne with respect. However, her face expresses slight bewilderment, as if she had not expected such a visit. Ref Store intervenes, explaining that he was the one who invited these military men. Marion is surprised by his actions and slightly confused, trying to understand his motives. The Ref Store reveals the plan, revealing that he has invited Saren, who is known for his hostility towards Eric. The tension in the room rises, creating an atmosphere of hidden confrontation. Marian is taken aback by the news, her face expressing a mixture of surprise and doubt. She feels like she is in the middle of an unexpected situation, but she does not yet know how to react. Looking around at the guests, Marianne responds with a soft smile, showing that she has decided to accept the circumstances. She remains true to her word and remains confident. King Refstor and Marian discuss the recent events of the tournament. He is puzzled by her dispute with the knights, and she is focused as if everything is going according to her well-thought-out plan. The princess humorously comments on the dispute, with the knights calling it fun. Her expression of confidence and hidden smile hint at the complex game she's playing. Marianne addresses the crowd, hinting at the fourth squad. The understatement in her words creates intrigue, forcing the audience to closely follow her every gesture. Marianne's bright smile speaks louder than words. Her confidence in victory and determination inspire the audience and fuel their interest in future events. Joan of the fourth squad studies the arena with concentration, his gaze fixed on the distance, as if he can already see his opponents and think of a strategy. Ophelia, smiling reservedly, watches the self-confident Marianne. Her cold and calculating gaze betrays her distrust of her victory, hinting at her hidden intentions. Ophelius confidently predicts that difficulties lie ahead for Marianne. Her hidden triumph hints at the obstacles to come that could change the outcome of the tournament. The arena is all set for battle. The spectators are frozen in anticipation, anticipating a great battle. The tension in the air is palpable, every movement becomes significant. The host greets the audience with enthusiasm. His energetic gestures and sonorous voice add to the spectacle, emphasizing the importance of the tournament and the readiness of its participants. The host announces the rules with a cheerful tone, emphasizing that everyone has a chance to win. His optimism charges the audience and increases the atmosphere of anticipation. In the open-air arena, the crowd holds its breath as the white-haired knight Molag faces off against Joan of the fourth squad. The promised clash promises to be a battle of skill, where speed and precision will be decisive factors. Amidst the bustling ranks of the arena, Molag stands composed, his helmet obscuring his view. His sword gleams in his hand, reflecting his determination to win, and the silence precedes the tension to come. Joan, no less focused, fastens his gloves, preparing for the fight. His gaze is fixed on the distance, full of confidence and anticipation of the battle that will prove his superiority. The silence of the arena is broken only by the sounds of swords as the knights take their starting positions. The roar of the crowd dies down, the anticipation reaches its peak, and then the command is given. Get ready! The speed of the knights is astounding. Their movements are blurred, swords merge into arcs and sparks, from blows fly off, immersing the audience in silent delight. Suddenly, the sound of a powerful blow stuns Joan. He is taken by surprise, and the look of shock on his face speaks of the superiority of the opponent who struck the unexpected blow. Molag cries out in pain, his face contorted. He appears to have been defeated, but the outcome of the duel remains uncertain, fueling the public's interest. However, Molag returns to the fight with spectacular and precise movements, his attacks mesmerizing the audience, creating swirls of steel around his figure. With fury on his face, Molag shouts words of contempt as he challenges his opponent. His anger only serves to heighten the tension in the duel, leaving the crowd breathless. The shock of the audience reaches its peak when the duel takes an unexpected turn. Each new move turns the fight into an unpredictable spectacle, keeping everyone in suspense. A burst of applause shakes the arena in honor of Joan's skill. He remains calm, not succumbing to euphoria, and continues to demonstrate his composure in front of the stunned crowd. Marianne playfully reminds Eric to keep his cool in public. Her voice is soft and gentle, guiding him away from the awkwardness caused by the strict boundaries of etiquette. Ophelius, as if shaken by a vision from the past, notices a familiar face. Her emotions burst forth in a desperate cry. The name that escapes her lips fills the moment with anxiety. Marianne's laughter breaks out in the tense atmosphere as Eric tries to remain serious. His confusion becomes a source of genuine joy and light amusement for her. Saren looks at the commoner with disbelief, wondering if this man could have once wandered aimlessly through the royal halls. His gaze is filled with doubt. Marianne subtly admits, Saren is famous for his speed, but in this fight, Joan surpasses him, striking with precision and agility that are comparable to lightning. Joan and Molag are engrossed in a duel where every blow is a dance of steel, and the sound of swords echoes in the hearts of the audience, immersing them in a gripping drama. Joan tries to comprehend what is happening, his worried gaze wandering around the arena. Saren, on the other hand, is collected his sword, ready for the final blow ending the series. Marianne's heart is torn between fear and hope. She screams Joan's name in horror as she watches the clash where love, duty, and fate intertwine. The fatal blow of Saren's sword cuts through the air, time seems to stop. Everyone freezes, waiting for the outcome, and the tension reaches its limit in this moment of truth. In the heat of battle, Joan tensing the muscles under his armor attacks. His lightning-fast sword movements make the air tremble, sparks fly in all directions. His gaze pierces the enemy like the tip of a sword thirsting for final victory. Molag meets the blow, his face contorted in a scream, his eyes wide with fear, reflecting not only the struggle with Joan, but also the internal struggle with his own terror as the blade stops at his throat. The audience's faces are tense, their emotions visible, even without words. The air is filled with anticipation of the outcome. Among them, Ophelia stands out with a cold, assessing gaze, as if she sees more than the others. Molag senses that defeat is near. His gaze is filled with fear, sweat runs down his face, as if emphasizing the internal tension and despair that grows with each passing second of the duel. Joan screams a battle cry, the words echoing around the arena. The moment seems frozen, as if fate itself is holding its breath, waiting to see which knight will prevail in this decisive duel. Marianne watches the battle from afar, her gaze thoughtful and sad, and her isolation emphasizes her inner struggle and sense of loneliness despite the grandeur of her figure. Knight Richard, with a smug smile, reminds Marianne that his teachings helped Joan achieve success. His confident words and proud tone create the image of a man confident in his own importance. Ophelia smiles gracefully as she notices Sir Rudy's defeat, her gaze and hidden mockery hinting at the secret knowledge she clearly enjoys watching the proceedings with a degree of enigmatic confidence. Her words about the new knight flow easily, as if she were playing the cards of fate in front of those present. Each of her remarks is a premonition of events that could change the course of events in the future. Ophelius praises Sir Rude, though his absence makes the praise mysterious. Her speech is full of hints about his hidden qualities, which she says will be a source of pride for the kingdom. Marianne watches her opponent with concern, whose skills she respects and worries at the same time. Her gaze is full of determination, but doubts and hidden hope do not leave her. Ophelius watches the situation with a critical eye, certain that her opponent's experience exceeds Marianne's ambitions. Her face expresses confidence in predicting the inevitable outcome. Realizing that he may have hurt Marianne, Ophelius feels uneasy. Her gaze conveys a desire to correct what she said, although she does not try to hide her confidence in the future. A man in an elegant tailcoat comforts Ophelius, his calm radiating stability. He seems to absorb the tension around him, bringing a sense of reliability and confidence to the tense atmosphere. The air in the room is thick with anticipation. Ophelius, assessing the knight, notes his fortitude and honor, but her words hint at a mystery hidden within him, leaving those around him in thought. Marian and her companion discuss the knight's fallen form, no longer seeming invincible. Their anxiety reflects the realization that each battle brings new challenges, and past victories mean little in the present. His gaze meets Ophelius's, and the silent question, "Has he lost?" hovers between them. Their expressions reflect a mixture of doubt and hope that all is not lost. Marianne rethinks her opinion, and Ophelius, although agreeing, remains confused. Both seek the truth behind the knight's outward calm, trying to understand what is hidden behind his mask. The audience tensely awaits the finale. The sun's rays illuminate the arena, increasing the atmosphere of anticipation. Everyone hopes for a miracle that can change the predicted outcome of events. Ophelius watches the crowd with a mysterious smile. Her gaze suggests that she knows more than she is willing to reveal. It is as if she sees the twists of fate that will soon change everything. Princess Marian looks alarmed, her eyes wide with sudden realization. Something has happened that has shattered her expectations, leaving her confused and bewildered. Knight Michelo, dressed in shining armor, looks confidently at the sky. His face expresses readiness for great achievements, and his posture emphasizes his determination to face any challenge. Two girls and a man enthusiastically support Michelo. Their cries of admiration and belief in his abilities ignite the atmosphere. They shout their approval at him, increasing the tense anticipation before the fight. Michelo responds to the crowd with a small gesture, his face lit up with joy. He feels connected to the crowd, their support gives him strength, and his confidence only grows in anticipation of the upcoming battle. Princess Marian looks on with an ironic smile, her gaze full of hidden meaning. She is simultaneously amused and perplexed by what is happening, noting the strangeness of the situation. Ophelius notices something only she can see with a cold smile. Her comments sound like mockery full of hidden calculation, as if she knows more than everyone else. There is a hidden strategy in Ophelius's gaze. She beckons those around her to watch the arena, but her enigmatic smile hints at more than just a fight. The arena is filled with spectators holding their breath. Rude and Michelo are preparing for a battle that will not be just a competition, but a demonstration of honor, strength, and skill. The atmosphere is heating up. Rude, focused, and determined looks like the picture of valor. His face is a picture of strength and confidence, ready to defend his place in the arena with honor. Michelo looks calm and collected. His confidence is no less. He is dedicated to his cause and is ready to fight to the end, demonstrating the dignity of a true warrior. Marianne, with concern in her eyes, warns Michelo of the consequences of defeat. Her words are full of seriousness, emphasizing that this fight has a significance that goes beyond a simple duel. The fight begins with a rhythm of steel blows. Rude and Michelo collide their every step, and movement filled with tension. The audience is absorbed in what is happening, feeling the drama of the moment. Marian looks on with a mixture of anxiety and hope. Her attention is focused on the duel, while her companions remain cool, watching the events unfold with restraint. Rude delivers a crushing blow, unexpectedly upsetting the balance. Michelo is shocked not only physically, but also mentally, realizing the seriousness of the situation and his position. Rude shows off his skill by taking Michelo to the ground. His coolness and precision of movement highlight his superiority, and the audience is shocked by the sudden turnaround. Rude has the upper hand, keeping Michelo on the ground, sealing his victory. His eyes are full of determination, and his confidence underlines his dominance in this fight. Michelo is desperately fighting the thought of defeat. He lies on the ground, trying to maintain the last of his dignity, but Rude remains adamant and displays absolute power. Rude emphasizes his victory, forcing Michelo to accept defeat. His confidence leaves no doubt, and Michelo remains on the ground, crushed physically and mentally. Rude turns to Marianne and gestures to apologize for disturbing her. Michelo, resigned to defeat, remains, lying down, a symbol of his fall before fate. Marianne is confused and at a loss. Michelo's defeat shocks her, leaving her feeling helpless. She tries to find a solution, but realizes that there is no way to change the outcome. Rude, with dark blue hair, praises the speed and precision of his opponent's movements. His confidence in his own technique is evident in every movement, reflecting absolute focus and preparation for the fight. Michelo, with golden hair, holds his sword confidently. Although he is slightly embarrassed, His determination and self-confidence are strengthened by the thought that his appearance may be part of his strength. Rude prepares to deliver the final blow, his face expressing complete concentration, while the prone Michelot, having accepted his defeat, awaits the final blow, realizing the inevitability of the outcome. Michelot, realizing his defeat, sees the futility of relying on appearances. His face expresses disappointment and fear, and his eyes show the awareness of helplessness. During training, Marianne strictly points out Michelot's mistakes. She emphasizes that sincerity is more important than the beauty of technique in a fight, forming in him an understanding of true combat stamina. Michelot's scream pierces the air as he swings his sword. The scene of flying petals around him heightens the drama of the moment, making his determination spectacular. Michelot falls to the ground, facing the weight of defeat. His pain is not only physical, but also emotional, reflecting the internal crisis caused by his failure. Lying in the dust, he touches his face, contemplating what makes him strong. This moment of introspection reflects his desire to find the true source of his strength and worth. Marianne confidently tells Michelot that sincerity must transcend the superficial beauty of technique. Her words sound like a call to true mastery, awakening his awareness. Two young warriors discuss Michelot's style, noting the contradiction between his grace and his actual skills. Their laughter underscores the slight irony of the situation. Marianne reproaches Michelot for being too concerned about his friends distracting him. She hits him with a stick, and he laughs it off with a feigned grimace, demonstrating his fortitude. In a moment of realization, Marianne seriously reminds us of the importance of even small victories, emphasizing that defeat in a decisive battle can have serious consequences. Marianne's voice becomes passionate when she calls for a fight to the end. Her determination and energy inspire those around her to overcome difficulties and not give up. The king and queen watch the unfolding events anxiously. Their looks express anticipation and tension, reflecting the importance of the battle that affects destiny. Michelot confirms his readiness with a sparkle in his eyes and a grin. His confidence and anticipation of the fight are visible, although outwardly he appears calm. Rude lands a powerful blow, and their clash fills the space with energy. The fight becomes more and more intense, and the audience holds its breath. Michelot dodges a punch from Rude during a heated confrontation. Their fight, full of heat and a struggle for supremacy, captures the attention of the audience. Rude ends up on the ground, but even in this position, his will remains unwavering. He shows his determination to continue the fight, reflecting his fighting spirit. Resigned to defeat, Rudd acknowledges the wisdom of his commander, giving him credit for it. His words reflect respect for hierarchy and leadership. Rudd, having accepted defeat honorably, praises the commander, emphasizing his rightness. His respect and recognition become a symbol of honor and discipline. In the sunlit arena, Michelot cuts a dashing figure. His confidence and brilliance attract the admiring gaze of spectators, who cannot take their eyes off this magnificent knight. Michelot jokes about his attractiveness to the applause of the crowd. His charm causes laughter and slight confusion among the figures around him, strengthening his connection with the audience and highlighting his charisma. Trying to hide his excitement, Michelot looks at the arena. His gaze involuntarily lingers on Marianne and the maids bustling around her, attracting his attention no less than the enthusiastic crowd. With her wavy black hair, Marianne is unfazed by any possible threat. Her calm makes those around her look at her in a new way, admiring her confidence and fortitude. Shocked by his feelings, Michelot decides to become Marianne's protector. However, his dream of winning her heart turns out to be stronger than his desire to win in the arena. During a fight, Michelot tries to combine elegance and skill. Even when he anticipates defeat, he is confident that his style and legend will remain undeniable in the eyes of the audience. Rude, his opponent, attacks with ferocity and determination. His powerful blows astound the spectators, who feel every movement as a demonstration of true strength and uncompromising tenacity. The tension reaches its peak when Rude lands a devastating blow, leaving Yahello in dire straits, and the audience holding their breath as they watch this epic battle. On the arena floor, Michelot maintains his dignity even in defeat. His unwavering spirit inspires spectators who never stop hoping for an unexpected turn of fate. Rude prepares to deliver the final blow. His triumphant look reflects confidence in victory, and the audience, holding its breath, awaits the final moment of this tense duel. Michelot, a noble knight, prepares to fight despite falling. The light reflected from his sword enhances the effect of his determination, creating a vivid contrast between the play of light and shadow. He charges with grace and power, every move filled with determination, and the vortex created by his actions seems like an ally supporting him in battle. Rude is shocked by Yahello's power, his cry betraying his fear of imminent defeat. His face reflects a mixture of shock and recognition of his opponent's strength. Miccolo releases his sword and summons magic surrounding him in bright flashes of light. This marks his breakthrough and new level of mastery, surprising everyone in the arena. His attack turns into a whirlwind of energy that stuns the audience as they watch an explosion of light and movement that highlights the final power of his finishing blow. Victorious Yahello stands majestically. Rude, disarmed and lying on the ground, acknowledges the strength of his opponent, emphasizing the skill and triumph of his victory. The spectators stunned by this spectacle shout with delight, supporting Yahello. His triumph fills the arena with the feeling of a completed legend, causing genuine admiration. In the royal box, Marian watches with impenetrable calm. Her voice, full of confidence, sounds in questions to the maid, hinting at her hidden plans and influence on events. Marianne's dialogue with her maid ends with an order that reveals the depth and complexity of the unfolding story, promising new secrets and unexpected turns. Marian delivers the message through a maid, avoiding the noise of the crowd. This gesture heralds the beginning of a new chapter that will deepen and continue the development of the epic story. Marian looks into the distance, anxiety mixed with hope in her eyes. Her gaze, adorned with a flower accessory, is full of expectation and slight excitement. In her heart, uncertainty and faith in the best fight, creating an image filled with soft thoughtfulness. Miccolo holds a letter, the contents of which stun him. His eyes are wide open, and his face is frozen in an expression of absolute bewilderment. It seems that he has encountered something that destroys his usual ideas, awakening a range of emotions in him. Marianne, confused, does not believe her eyes. Her expression betrays conflicting feelings, from disbelief to hidden anxiety. Her face is illuminated by surprise, and her gaze conveys internal conflict and confusion. In the rain, the princess seems lonely and lost. Her silhouette against the gray sky seems to reflect loss and melancholy. The painting evokes a sense of inevitability of change and a quiet, bitter melancholy. Marianne's smile expresses a slight irony over her own defeat. Despite the circumstances, there is a mischievous glint in her eyes. Her rebellious mood creates an image full of inner strength and charm. Miccolo is confused. Unexpected events throw him off track. His gaze is worried, his face reflects mixed emotions. His mental state is filled with anxiety and a search for answers. The ref store wisely points out that the outcome of a battle is less important than the courage displayed. His words, filled with understanding, are a comfort to all who seek the true meaning of victory and defeat. Marianne, full of joy, plays with fate, playfully comparing Miccolo to a flowering plant. This moment is filled with lightness and fun, emphasizing her ability to charm those around her. The ref store proudly accepts the applause in honor of Miccolo. His smile expresses respect and joy for his son, and inner admiration fills every detail of this solemn moment. Miccolo, lost in thought, analyzes the events of the day. His gaze is serious, his face is focused, and his thoughts are busy searching for the meaning of what happened. This moment emphasizes his depth and prudence. A man in furs addresses a blonde in white, whose reaction is a mixture of surprise and bewilderment. Their conversation is shrouded in the atmosphere of a medieval celebration, where every gesture takes on special significance. Marianne admits to feeling unwell, and the man solicitously suggests that she rest. His concern, evident in his words, adds humanity to their interaction, enlivening the moment with genuine warmth. Devastated, Marianne takes the advice and decides to leave. Her actions reflect a resignation that hides an internal storm. This action highlights her vulnerability, which remains a mystery to those around her. Ophilis warmly supports Marianne, letting her go to rest. Their conversation takes place against the backdrop of the general bustle, emphasizing the contrast between the personal feelings of the characters and the noisy world around them. Miccolo and Joan are triumphantly crowned as the winners of the tournament. Their success causes a standing ovation, filling the crowd with anticipation of the upcoming battles, where the heroes will once again demonstrate their skills. Joan gives a brilliant demonstration of fencing. His blows combine power and grace, causing delight among the spectators. This moment becomes a symbol of skill and the desire to win. The draw brings Joan the winning number, as if marking his destiny. This moment is filled with a premonition of triumph, causing a storm of emotions and emphasizing the game of fate in the arena. Joan wins again, demonstrating grace and strategic thinking. His confidence and impeccable tactics leave no chance for his opponents, cementing his legendary status. Eric enthusiastically tells Refstore about the tournament. His retelling highlights Joan's skill, who shone in the arena, causing admiration and winning the hearts of the spectators. Refstore and Eric discuss the significance of Joan's decisions, his strategy, and his skill. Their dialogue reveals the depth of his talents, reflecting how personality determines the outcome of battles. The crowd goes silent as the announcer with gray hair and a white wig loudly announces the final fight of the tournament. His question about who will win ignites the excitement of the crowd, foreshadowing a dramatic ending. Excitement is in the air, setting the tone for the battle to come. The scene changes to a man in a formal suit watching the tournament. But the absence of Sergeant Gaston, the winner of the previous fights, is puzzling. This adds intrigue to the plot, leaving the audience guessing about the reasons for his disappearance. Sarah, a knight with green hair, prepares for battle. Her gaze is focused, and her stance radiates determination. In her armor, she embodies the courage of a defender of the royal party, ready to defend her honor to the end. Joan, a knight with brown hair, jokingly remarks on how unusual Sarah looks in armor, and asks if she's afraid of being left with an ugly scar. His words are a mixture of provocation and confidence. Sarah does not lose her composure, proudly, answering that her scars are a symbol of honor. Her words sound dignified, reflecting a warrior's pride and readiness to face any challenges, even if they leave marks. Continuing the dialogue, Sarah insists that she is a knight, not a lady, and demands to be called Knight Sarah. This emphasizes her desire for equality and demonstrates her self-confidence. Joan, teasing Sarah, claims that the scars only show her weakness. He promises to prove it in the upcoming fight, hinting at his confidence in victory and superiority. With growing excitement, Joan declares that he will show Sarah the error of her ways in combat. His determination challenges her skill, making the upcoming fight even more exciting. As the fight begins, Joan quickly attacks Sarah, showing his strength and readiness to win. His aggression highlights his determination to prove his point, but the outcome of the fight remains unclear. Suddenly, Joan loses her balance and falls. The audience and the host stand in shock watching his failure. All eyes are on Sarah, whose fate in this battle suddenly becomes the central question. Marianne earnestly tries to console a dejected Joan in the castle, while Sarah discusses strategy with another knight. Their conversation hints at important events to come that will change the course of events. Sarah delivers a crushing blow to her opponent in the arena. The crowd holds its breath as she watches her opponent fall to the dust, and she asserts her dominance by remaining resilient and strong. Having won, Sarah confidently moves on to her next goal. Her gaze is full of determination, and her steps are firm. She is ready for the final part of the performance, demonstrating an unwavering will. Joan, alone in the castle, reflects on what is happening. His serious expression and concentration indicate that he is preparing for the final test, which will require maximum effort. Sarah demonstrates incredible skill. Her movements are precise and flawless. Every detail in her actions causes admiration of the audience, who see her as a true master of her craft. Sarah walks confidently towards the throne, her stance showing her determination to fight to the end. Marianne watches her actions, anticipating the possible consequences of this performance. The tension between Sarah and Joan in the castle is palpable. Their encounter is filled with latent hostility and a sense of an inevitable confrontation that is about to flare up with renewed vigor. After making a mistake, Joan breaks a valuable cup, causing her embarrassment and frustration. This symbolizes her internal struggle and temporary loss of control over the situation. Trying to regain his dignity, Joan sheepishly picks up the pieces of the cup. The moment shows his vulnerability, but also his desire to cope and save face. Seeking a compromise, Joan suggests that Sarah forget the harsh moments of their dialogue. His gesture demonstrates a willingness to reconcile, but the question remains whether Sarah will accept his attempt. Joan, the green-haired knight, is full of indignation and determination. His burning gaze promises retribution for his rival's rash words. The violent denouement is approaching, and the tension around him is almost palpable. The man with the piercing gaze and compressed lips looks disappointed. His heavy gaze betrays an internal struggle and a readiness to face a serious test. He is determined to resist whatever fate has in store for him. Marianne the princess, with shining hair, waits with anticipation for the beginning. Her eyes full of excitement emphasize the liveliness of her nature. Against the background of the colorful decoration of the room, her energy seems especially infectious. The majestic warrior questions the readiness of his opponents. His confidence and composure create an atmosphere that foretells an important fight. Every detail of it inspires respect and emphasizes the importance of the moment. Once the start is given, the audience is plunged into a whirlwind of emotions. Events unfold at a furious speed, promising an unpredictable outcome. The atmosphere is tense as before a thunderstorm ready to fall at any moment. Astonishment grips one of the participants caught off guard. His wide eyes and tense face betray fear of a sudden turn of events that changes everything. Sarah, like a graceful doe, is ready for battle. Her confident stance and graceful movements emphasize her determination. She demonstrates incredible composure, promising not to give in to the fight. Sparks fly as Sarah and Joan's blades meet. Their fight is a clash of skill and will. The spectacle is so intense that the audience holds their breath waiting for the outcome. Joan begins to analyze Sarah's tactics. Her speed and agility are impressive, but he sees a weakness in her lack of strength. This realization sparks a new plan of action. Joan decides to rely on her strength-changing tactics. He is ready to deliver the decisive blow that can determine the outcome of the fight. His plan promises a new twist in their confrontation. The battle reaches its peak. Joan and Sarah fight with unprecedented intensity. Their weapons throw sparks, and their faces are distorted with tension. Every blow could be decisive, no one gives up. Sarah confidently parries Joan's attack, her sword dancing in the air. She looks unperturbed, as if calculating her opponent's every move. This moment emphasizes her composure. Away from the battle, Refstor gestures, emotionally, talking animatedly. Marian listens to him, but her gaze is directed into the distance, as if searching for answers to unspoken questions. The audience explodes with emotion, absorbed by the fight. Their delight reaches its peak, the atmosphere is tense. Everyone is waiting for the decisive blow, which seems to be about to change the outcome of the fight. Marianne beams as she watches the duel from the balcony. Her face lights up with excitement, and the sounds of the battle make her eyes sparkle. Meanwhile, Refstor continues the conversation, unaware of what is happening. Eric watches the fight with concentration. He absorbs every detail, as if assessing every movement of the participants. His gaze betrays deep involvement and attention to what is happening. Once again, Joan and Sarah's blades clash, creating tension. Their gazes meet across the cold metal. This tension, like a spark, is ready to ignite at any second. Sarah suddenly takes the initiative. Her lightning-fast and powerful blow knocks Joan off balance. For a moment, he freezes in shock, stunned by his opponent's skill. Joan lies on the ground, feeling the bitterness of defeat. He gathers his strength with difficulty, watching Sarah, who stands over him like the embodiment of unwavering determination. Sarah keeps her cool as she watches Joan. He knows he's defeated his tired body, an expression reflecting disappointment. Sarah remains determined to keep